The combine is in the rearview mirror, which means it's time for a brand new 2-round New York Jets mock draft post-combine edition with a very special draft analyst. Boy Green Daily starts now.
I'm going to lose my gosh darn bananas. Boy Green Daily starts now. Zoinks!
Boy Green Daily, Boy Green Daily, Boy Green Daily. Let's go!
Put your seatbelts on. Get ready for the ride. We're the freaking New York Jets, so we're built for this shit.
Morning, everybody. I'm Paul Eston Jr., a.k.a. Boy Green. I'm the New York Jets digital reporter for Heavy.com. Welcome to Boy Green Daily, a daily New York Jets video show, also available wherever you get your podcast. Thank you, everybody, for joining us this morning. And again, we are post-combine. We're all in. If you guys are watching on YouTube, that's the best place to watch this show. Like the video, hit subscribe right off the top rope. And again, we celebrated it a little bit yesterday, but we surpassed over 8,400 subscribers, baby. Thank you to all the support. We're a few subscribers away from 8,410. We just keep climbing, baby. It's terrific. But let's waste no more time. It's a Mock Draft Monday, baby. And we bring in our special guest. He is our NFL draft analyst of choice, the one that we've selected with the number one overall pick at Iron City Film. Drew Beatty graces us with his presence. What's up, Drew?
What's up, Paul? Morning. Glad we're finally to the combine, and now we're fun weekend of some draft talk, and that's really the benchmark for when things can really get going. Now we finally have an idea. Things are starting to get laid. We can really see what might happen in April.
That's true. And Drew, you've had a few weeks off from the mock drafts, and I'm sure that you've been missing people yelling at you. So I am willing to help fill that void in your life, Drew. So are you ready?
Ready as I'll ever be. Yeah.
Well, that's
kick it up.
That's the most honest answer I've ever heard from you, Drew. So I really appreciate that. All right, here we go, folks. Here are the rules in case you're new around here. Again, Drew Beatty is our NFL draft analyst of choice. He makes all the picks. All I do is poke and prod him, sort of what just happened at the combine. I'll ask him a bunch of questions, his sort of thought process as he's going through this picks. This is a 2-round mock draft. The Jets have 4 picks inside the first 2 rounds. Pick number 2, pick number 16, pick number 33, pick number 44. There will be no trades, but I did talk with Drew before the show, and we will have a trade episode coming up in the future where he will have the ability to move up and down and anywhere he wants, if that is indeed the case. But this is a post-combine mock draft. We're using the PFF mock draft machine, and audio-only people, don't worry. I will walk you through any selection that he makes. We'll talk about the school, the player, the position, and I'll make sure I keep you guys fully engaged from that perspective. Again, all the settings for PFF are 50-50 outside of randomness, which I've explained before. Things get a little too weird, man, and a little too weird. We want to try to make this as realistic as possible. With that being said, we enter the draft, we start the draft, and yes, Fernando Mendoza was the number 1 overall pick. So, Drew, you have the same bevy of options that you always have, but we're coming off the combine, and there is some stock up and stock down on certain players. Where do you want to go?
So a couple of places I want to kind of preface before we get into here.
Yeah.
Number 1, I want to circle back to when I took Sonny Styles, number 2 overall. I know that probably still isn't going to happen, but
Drew, come on, Drew. Give me one of these
for that one. So
Drew,
for anybody that
come on,
believes he's now the best player in the draft after a combine performance, I just like everybody to go back and look at the comments on that mock draft just to circle back. Not pointing any fingers. I just wanted to bring that up.
Come on, Drew. Give him a flex. Come on. Give him a flex. Show off. Yeah, that's what I'm talking about. Because I want to tell you, when people were going crazy on social media, Sonny Styles and Daniel Jeremiah on the broadcast, okay? It's getting to the end of, what was that, Thursday? It's getting to the end of Thursday, okay? And Rich Eisen turns to Daniel Jeremiah and he says, Daniel, so what do you think of 2? And he says, Sonny Styles has, quote, crashed the party, and he is part of the conversation at 2 overall. And I saw people on Twitter going, whoa, I haven't heard that before. That's crazy. And I'm like, whoa, what the hell? And then all kinds of praise. And I love DJ, but all kinds of praise just on a DJ. Yeah, Sonny Styles, baby. I'm like, what the hell? Drew Beatty was burned in the streets for bringing up Sonny Styles at 2. So again, not wrong, just early, baby.
There you go. Always.
Go ahead. Yeah.
And again, I think it's going to happen? No, I think ultimately the conversation is really between still Arvell Reese and David Bailey. It's been that way for probably 2-ish weeks now, and I think it's even solidified after the combine. Part of me kind of thought we'd have more of a clear picture, because usually you leave with kind of like a general outline of what the top 3 is going to be. And this year is kind of unique in the way that after Mendoza, it's really like it's anybody's game. Nobody really knows what's going to happen. But I do still feel confident that it's either Reese or Bailey here. And we've done a lot of mock drafts on the show already through the cycle so far. And all of mine pre-combine have been more of what I would do personally, like if I was the one in the war room for the Jets and had my finger on the trigger. But now post-combine, like I mentioned, where things you kind of start to lay in place and you know a little bit more of what's going to happen, and we're a little bit closer to the actual draft time. I think post-combine, I like to switch my mock drafts more to predictive rather than what I would do personally. Okay. So this will be the first one that I do, and it's still a little bit far out for that, but I think it's the first place you can kind of do that. So here, number 2, I think it's kind of a toss-up between Reese and Bailey, but after Bailey running a 4.5 flat, after him measuring it, not quite the 35-inch arms we thought, but still 33 and 5/8, I mean, still long arms. He came in heavier than I thought he would. I think that 251, I think is what he came in at. It's a good weight for him. So overall, I don't like when we double count testing for prospects. Like when guys that we already knew were good athletes from the film test well and we give them like a double bonus for that. I think that's a little bit disingenuous, but it's just a fact of life. And ultimately, athleticism and length are what the NFL loves. And if it wasn't already abundantly clear that the Jets were taking an edge at 2, which it should have been, the trade with Jermaine Johnson and Devondre Sweat made it even more clear. So we're going to go with David Bailey at 2 here.
Okay, David Bailey. Before we make this, well, actually, let's make this pick official. So let's hit the chats. Number 2 overall pick in this 2-round post-NFL Combine mock draft, Drew Beatty, acting as our general manager, head coach, Grand Poobah, has selected Texas Tech pass rusher David Bailey with the number 2 overall pick. So let's lock that in. That's in. And now the Jets are picking at 16. I'll reveal everything that happened from pick 3 to 15 in a second. But Drew, you mentioned the trade. For those who don't know, let me go full screen here so they can see it behind you. Look at this guy. This guy bleeds Tennessee Titan action. Look at that. We got the Derrick Henry jersey. Who's signed on that helmet, by the way, there?
Oh, I have Jeffrey Simmons, DeAndre Hopkins, Tyjae Spears.
Okay.
Will Levis, which is what it is
okay.
now, and then a couple other guys. It was a handful at training camp one year.
Okay, very nice. Okay, I love that. That's beautiful. So before we get back to the mock draft, quick timeout. That trade, and you're a Titans guy. It's great to get your perspective. Thank you for joining us on the show. We got to hear from you, Mike Herndon, my buddy down there, Easton Freeze. So we got the perspective from the beat reporters, insiders, everything. And I'm curious for you again. There's a full video up giving your take, but I don't know if it's changed at all or sort of, or again giving it here on Boy Green Daily for the first time, your perspective. Pass rusher Jermaine Johnson, last year of his rookie contract, $13.4 million, fully guaranteed, gets sent over to the Titans. We get back to Devondre Sweat, who's got 2 years left on his deal. Pass rusher for nose tackle. And again, something we had discussed previously on a previous episode of Boy Green Daily. It's a possibility schematically that this could happen. So how does this affect the draft?
Yeah, it's actually something that I talked, I won't go into as much detail as we did on our show a couple of days ago. Right. But just another reason that I love this trade for the Jets is that I think it helps kind of take them out of the box they were penciled into, where like you have to leave the top 50 with one of your picks being a defensive tackle because you had such a need there. After trading Quinn and Williams, you needed somebody to replace that presence on the interior. Mm-hmm. And I think trading for Devondre Sweat, you have that filled now. So you have more freedom to kind of go BPA. And we can talk all the time about how people, it's always BPA. We don't ever draft for positional need. Every team drafts for need. That's a fact of life. It's a reality of life. If you have a massive hole, teams are thinking, hey, we have to leave the draft with this player or with a player at this position. And the Jets have now positioned themselves to be much more in place to do BPA picks with their 4 picks in the top 50, which I think is a great process. And I think either 16 or 33 had to be a defensive tackle to me. Doing these drafts, and I think now you have a lot more freedom and flexibility with those picks. So I think obviously you get the need to, or you have the need filled there where you have an early down run defender that can really kind of revolutionize your interior run defense, but you also freed yourself up a lot in the draft.
So I agree with that. My question now is, so it was, you said very much in the conversation with one of those picks inside the top 44. Now that they've acquired Devondre Sweat, they still have Harrison Phillips, who's a true veteran. They have Juwan Briggs, who's coming off a career year after trading for him from the Cleveland Browns. Did we go from, oh boy, now they need to use something, to now they don't have to use something at all? The position is solved and it's not in consideration in these top 44 picks anymore?
Yeah, I probably would not expect anything in the top 50 from that. Like, they might add one somewhere along day 3 just for some depth in the room, and I think
Sure.
it's a pretty good defensive tackle class. But overall, yeah, I would not expect to see the Jets add any more interior defensive linemen with their top picks this year.
And quick follow up on your David Bailey, and then we'll get back to the draft here here on the program. So David Bailey's numbers are incredible last year. 19 and a half tackles for loss, 14 and a half sacks. I mean, these are video game numbers. And again, he did himself a lot of favors, I'd imagine, with his performance during the NFL Combine a couple of days ago. Is there any concern about the run defense? Because I'm hearing that from some people. Some other people say those are overblown, any criticisms that are coming his way. So, Drew, you always give the truth.
Yeah, so that's something I probably should have prefaced that pick with being a predictive mock instead of something I would do. I personally am a lot lower on David Bailey. He's currently 47th on my board rather than
Jesus.
what a lot of people have in top 5, top 10. So he's more of a mid to late day 2 guy that I would pick rather than maybe somebody in the top 10. And the run defense is a big part of that. I think he's not a 3-down player at the NFL level. I think that ultimately, and it's not a shedding ability thing. That's what people usually talk about, how if a guy can pass rush, you can teach him to defend the run, which normally I agree with. But the problem with David Bailey is not that he doesn't know how to defend the run. The technique is fine. The problem is he's just flat out not strong enough. The anchor is just not there. You'll see him get washed out by tight ends, by tackles. He's just not a guy that can hang in an anchor against the run, which really worries me. And the other thing is, I think it's another thing you saw at the combine when he ran the wave drill, is that he's super stiff in the hips and the ankles. So when you have a speed rusher, you really got to be able to bend that corner to get around those tackles. You can't just rely on your first step at the NFL level like he did in college. So the stiffness really worries me, and I don't think he has the power to win through anybody at the NFL level. He's just going to have to win around them. And so the stiffness really worries me there. That's why he's a little bit lower for me. But clearly the NFL is very high on him. He was hyper productive in college. But yeah, that's why I'm a little bit lower on him. I would make that pick if I was the GM, but it's very clear that he's going to be a top 5 pick coming up.
There you go. So again, this will be the only time that I do this. I'm going to tell you guys the picks that happened between the Jets' last pick and their next pick, and then we'll go through the rest of the draft here. So again, the Jets took David Bailey, the pass rusher out of Texas Tech, with the number 2 overall pick. Number 3 overall, the Arizona Cardinals took Reuben Bain Jr. out of Miami. Tennessee Titans took Caleb Downs, 4th overall, the defensive back out of Ohio State. Very nice. Jeremiah Love went 5th overall, the Notre Dame Golden Domer baby, to the New York Giants. Sonny Styles rose up to the Cleveland Browns. Save him on some moving costs there. Very nice. I can appreciate PFF doing that. That's lovely. Sonny Styles, the linebacker, to Cleveland. Washington gets Arvell Reese fall into their laps out of Ohio State, 7th overall, the do-it-all man for Ohio State. Another Ohio State player, 3 in a row. Good Lord have mercy. Carnell Tate, Ohio State, going to his Ohio State brethren, Chris Olave. Carnell Tate to the New Orleans Saints, a wide receiver from the Buckeyes. 9th overall, the Chiefs get Francis Mauigoa, the offensive lineman out of Miami. 10th overall, USC wide receiver Makai Lemon goes 10th. Mansour Delane, the cornerback out of LSU, to the Miami Dolphins, 11th overall. Drummond McCoy, another corner, Dallas Cowboys out of Tennessee. Caleb Banks, interior defensive lineman out of Florida, to the LA Rams. Akeem Mesidor, Reuben Bain's running mate, goes to Baltimore, 14th overall. And then CJ Allen, linebacker out of Georgia, goes 15th overall to the Bucs, which puts the Jets back on the clock here with their second first-round draft choice. This one, of course, from the Indianapolis Colts via the Sauce Gardner trade. Where are we going here, Drew Beatty?
So I think there are really 2 players that I think the Jets will be looking between here, and that is the guy at the top of the board. That's Oregon's Dylan Thieneman, safety, and that is Arizona State receiver Jordan Tyson. And Jordan Tyson is a really interesting one because for a lot of the process, really dating back to last summer, he had been kind of considered the runaway wide receiver one consensus, and I was never quite that high on him. But I mean, he was still in my top 3, top 4 receivers. Still kind of borderline round 1 grade, early round 2. A lot of his kind of the question marks on his report were the medicals because he's had a season-ending injury at one point or another in every single year in college for him. Whether I think it was a hamstring and a collarbone, and I forget what the third one was, but he's just had a lot of nagging injuries that have been a problem for him. And supposedly the medical report was good news what he got in Indianapolis. So I think teams are probably going to be a little bit less gun shy of him after that. And he is somebody. I mean, he's got incredible body control. He is a above average separator. Really strong hands. He's great at the catch point. My really only worries with him is I don't think he handles physicality quite as well as he should. And I'm not sure he has quite that top gear as an athlete you want in a first round receiver. But ultimately, I just think the talent level is a little bit lower. And this is definitely a round 1 guy in this class. But then if you shift over to Dylan Thieneman, who's a guy that exploded at the combine, ran a 4.37. It was like a 10'11" broad jump, I think, if I'm remembering that correctly. Very explosive, very athletic. Not quite the player that I love in coverage for a safety in the first round. I don't really love any safeties in the first round past Caleb Downs. But again, this is more predictive rather than my board, and I think the NFL is very, very high on Thieneman. I'd expect him to go in the top 20 at this point.
Wow. Okay. And what was he before, do you think, the combine, in your mind?
He was probably still a borderline round 1 guy. But if he went, it was probably in the back end. But I think, you might see 3 or potentially even 4 safeties in the first round at this point, post combine. I'd probably go 3, but this is a really, really impressive safety class. The best we've seen, certainly since I've been scouting, but in recent memory. So I think here I'm probably going to go Thieneman because the Jets just have such a need at safety. Okay. And I think the depth at receiver is there a lot more than it is. The depth at receiver is a lot more than it is safety, at least when you're looking at the top of the second round. So I don't think you can really go wrong between Tyson and Thieneman here. But I think Thieneman's probably more likely just because how the board falls and where the Jets' needs are.
Okay, so long story short, if the Jets want Dylan Thieneman, they have to take him here at 16 because he ain't going to be there.
He's not going to be there at 33.
Okay, so do you want to lock that in, Drew Beatty?
I think so.
Okay, well, let's hit those chimes, baby. It's another draft pick. Overall pick in this 2-round post-combine mock draft, Drew Beatty selects Oregon defensive back Dylan Thieneman with the 16th overall pick for the gosh darn New York Jets. Boy, do they need safety help. So thank you. Add that to the board. Now the Jets have 2 picks left. They're both in the second round, 33rd overall, which is their own, and then the 44th overall pick, which will be via the Dallas Cowboys. All right, and I see your boy Casey Concepcion just went 32nd overall, so I'm sure you really appreciate that. So now we're here at 33. Where are you thinking here?
I think this is probably have to be receiver.
Okay.
And
receiver. All right.
In reality, like we talked about doing a trade episode at one point. Yep. I think, I think it's probably unlikely that you see a trade in the first round, just because everybody wants to trade back all the time, obviously, and it makes sense in a class, where the talent level's lower, like it is in this class. But nobody's trading up in this class. It's just the reality. There's nobody that is really worth giving up 27 capital, or even capital lower down in this class to go up and get players. But pick 33 right here at the top of day 2 is always a pick that receives massive trade interest. So this will be a fun one when we get to that trade. But looking at the receiver board here, the guy that really jumps out to me here is Indiana wide receiver Omar Cooper, who is somebody whose stock has just exploded over the past month. He was, kind of the primary receiver on that national championship team up until the point he got hurt later in the year. He is he's an incredible player with the ball in his hands, awesome contact balance. He's a guy that Indiana drew up a ton of screens for and really just wanted to get the ball in his hands. He's a playmaker. He's a relatively good separator, not as much as I wish he was for the level of athlete he is. I think he should be able to separate a little bit better. So he's a little bit raw there, but still has the athletic traits to be a good separator. Not quite the player that I want at the catch point, unfortunately, for how powerful he is with the ball in his hands.
Mhm.
But overall, I mean, he's a very well-rounded receiver. I've counted him to Rashee Rice from Kansas City on the field, obviously, not the off-the-field stuff. But I think they're very similar players, where they're both just they can be very valuable power slot kind of gadget type guys that maybe aren't the best separators, but they can work a lot out of the slot. They're very big bodies. They're good with the ball in their hands. So I'd be a little bit surprised if he ends up at pick 33 by the time we get here in April.
Okay.
But if he is, I think it's a home run pick here. I'm personally more in the third round range on him, but in this class, I think guys are always going to go higher than you have him graded.
Okay.
And the league is obviously very high on Omar Cooper, so I think Omar Cooper is the pick here.
Okay, let's go. Let's get Garrett Wilson a running mate here. Now, I just want to bring this guy up before we move on here. Excuse me. Daniel Jeremiah joined the Jets desk at the combine, and they're just doing a radio row bit basically. And Eric Allen asked Daniel Jeremiah if you could sort of pick someone in this draft to be the perfect running mate to Garrett Wilson, who would it be? And the name he brought up, this is before all the workouts, was Notre Dame Golden Domer Malachi Fields. What is your temperature on Malachi Fields? And it looked like there was a few struggles there at the combine.
Yeah, I feel about that. I saw somebody in the comments just say that I don't like anybody in this draft, and ultimately I hate to continue that theme. But we just continue to keep talking about the guys that I'm a little bit lower on. Unfortunately, we can't talk about any of the guys I love. But yeah, Malachi Fields, and if you heard me talk any time on this show last year or any time about other receivers of this build this year, you'll know this is not my type of receiver. I'm never going to like the big body guys that can't separate on the boundary, just because I think that's not a sustainable way to live at the NFL. They're called 50-50 balls for a reason. And I think any receiver who lives giving the DB a chance at the ball constantly that's not the way to play in the NFL. So I'd always prefer a guy that can actually get open and consistently separate versus somebody who's a, air quote ball winner. But that Malachi Fields fits, exactly in that mold of a guy that is really big frame, knows how to play basketball at the catch point. And, we'll go up and be a ball winner. But ultimately, he's just got a long way to go as a separator. He's not a guy that can really consistently win against man coverage. And he's extreme, as you saw at the combine with his 4.62, extremely limited vertically. He's a guy that's not going to be able to win and separate vertically against boundary corners in the NFL level. Just the long speed is not there for him. But he's got a 10-minute long highlight reel of crazy catches from last year. So he's obviously very fun at the catch point. And I think the NFL is very clearly high on him. I expect him to go in the top 50. But for me, I'm just not somebody that is comfortable taking a bigger body receiver that can't separate and doesn't have the vertical speed that I think you need on the outside.
Fair enough. All right, let's go back to your pick of choice here. So we're going to scroll back up. You got us the toy, which we appreciate. Thanks for getting us that for a late Christmas gift. Very much appreciated. So let's hit those chimes. Another pick is in. First pick of the second round, first pick of day 2. The New York Jets select via Drew Beatty, Indiana wide receiver Omar Cooper Jr. Boom shakalaka, which takes us to the last pick. Again, the first 2 picks, we had some defensive flavor, and now the first pick in the second round is offense. Now where do we go at pick 44? Drew Beatty.
This is really where it opens up, I think, because the first 3 picks were really like you had clear options laid out in front of you. You had clear needs you needed to fill. But here, I think you're really a lot more wide open, and you can really just read the board and go like DPA here. And I think like linebacker and corner are the 2 places that I would look, and probably guard as well, because I think just reading the tea leaves, it looks potentially unlikely that they're going to bring back Vera Tucker. This is not saying they will or they won't, but it just seems to be pointing to the fact that they might let him at least test the market. So looking at guard here, like maybe a Chase Basantis out of Texas A&M, if he's still on the board, is a guy that I really like at the top of the second round.
Let's see here. Yes, he is.
There he's at the top.
Yeah.
And then below that, you have some center options.
Okay.
Which I mean, the Jets don't really need. So, we can take a look at the linebacker board too, because I think with Jamie and Sherwood not being quite the player they were looking for this past year. Linebacker is certainly an option.
Okay.
And there's a lot of great options here. This is a fun linebacker class. These top 4 guys could all go in this range, I think.
Okay.
I'm more in the day 3, like early day 3 range on Anthony Hill. I just don't think
Mhm.
he has the power you want taking a player this early.
Okay.
Jake Gole is awesome from Cincinnati. He's a player that is probably the best athlete of this group, and very, very fun in coverage. He's a guy you can rely on in man and zone. Brings a lot of pop at the point of attack and run defense. Josiah Trotter, I've taken before in Jets mock drafts. I think he's my linebacker too, and a top 20 player for me, I believe, or top 30. He is the best run defender of this linebacker class after Sonny Styles, I firmly believe. And maybe not the player you love in coverage, but he's an elite run defender. And then Jacob Rodriguez is another guy I'm a little bit lower on.
Okay.
Early day 3. I think he's great in coverage, but he just doesn't quite bring you the range you want, and he's not somebody who I think is strong enough in the run game. But all 4 of these guys are good options at linebacker here. I'll probably take a look at the corner board too before I make a last decision, because I think the Jets, we've talked before, they could use some boundary corner help.
For sure. Definitely. Let's pull up corners here on the board. Here we go.
And here, your top 2 options, I think, are probably end up in the slot at the NFL level. Keontae Scott is a guy that's played nickel all the way through for Miami, and he is through and through a guy that's going to play in that kind of nick him and worry big nickel area. D'Angelo Pons, if he were, 6 foot instead of 5'8", he might be a guy we're talking about as the best corner in the draft. But ultimately, that height is just a killer, and I think it's going to end up where he ends up on the inside because of it. Still an incredible player. Awesome in both man and zone. He's got an awesome click and close. Very sticky in man coverage, but the height is just, the physical limitations are a little bit too much for him to stay on the boundary to me. Mm-hmm. Chris Johnson at San Diego State is another guy that exploded at the combine, ran a 4.4 flat, measured in at 6 foot, 180 something, I believe. And he's a player who I think is firmly in first round contention when we get to April. He's a player that the NFL is very, very high on from what I know. Mm-hmm. And really, I think here, the pick's really between Chris Johnson or Chase DeSantis for me.
Okay.
And I think, again, let's say in this draft that we're living in the world, they don't bring back Elijah Vera Tucker.
Yes.
I think you bring in a veteran for sure to compete with him, but you have to bring in some young blood at the position. And I think Chase DeSantis is going to be the pick here.
Okay.
Texas A&M guard Chase DeSantis is, he's a guy, you don't want to start a second round guard day 1. You want to bring in veteran competition. But if you were going to start somebody day 1, I would feel comfortable starting Chase DeSantis at guard tomorrow in an NFL game. He is one of the most technically advanced veteran looking players in this class. He's so advanced with his hands. His technique is just like that of an NFL veteran already. Maybe not the most athletic guy in the world. The arms are kind of short. But again, that can be kind of mitigated pushing him to the interior at guard. Because he started to tackle in Texas A&M and moved on the interior as his college career went on. But he's a guy that's just a technician. He's got an awesome snatch trap, great anchor in pass pro. Just a guy that is such a rock solid pass protector on the interior. Maybe not quite the level run defender you want for a top 50 guard, but I think he's so good in pass protection that it really makes up for it. And he is currently 26th on my board, so good value for me personally. And I firmly expect him to be a top 50 pick and potentially even a first round guy in the back of the first. I think he could sneak up as the process goes on.
All right, so let's make this pick official. Then I'll add some extra context here on your ABT things you just said. So let's hit it. Overall pick in this 2-round post-combine mock draft, Drew Beatty, acting as the Jets' everything man, making these picks, selects Chase DeSantis, the interior offensive lineman from Texas A&M. So PFF behind the scenes is tabulating beep boop bop. What is our grade for Drew Beatty? We'll check in on that in a second. I'm sure you're thrilled to hear that. Yes. So I sat here and watched all the combine coverage, sans my Thursday show, which started at the same time as the combine coverage. So I missed a little bit of the beginning of the combine, but besides that, I was sitting here listening to all the combine coverage. I loved, the great moments with whether it's the Styles, Mama Styles, and her interview in the stands with her 2 boys, which were great. And there was a lot of those kind of moments. But also, sporadically in the days, they would bring on NFL Network insider Ian Rapport on for a hit. Give us the latest on today. Today, we're talking about linebackers edge. What's the latest in free agency that you're hearing on linebackers edge? Next day, offensive lineman, what are you hearing? All that. And yesterday, I'm tuning in. I'm sitting right here. And he says the guard market has exploded, or he thinks it's going to explode based on everything he's hearing. He's going through all these names. And I'm like, is this guy about to say AVT? And I'm waiting. And he's like, and Elijah Vera Tucker. He is going to get, quote unquote, a nice payday. And, he said that shortly after talking about a bunch of guys in the 15 plus million per year range. So it's, he didn't say that directly for AVT, but he talked about it in a greater scope. So I think it's going to be a lot of money. And it does not surprise me. We talked about this, I believe, a couple weeks ago here, Drew, talking about the Jets have right now they have a void at left guard. It could be filled by two of the guys that are still in the building right now. That's John Simpson, Elijah Vera Tucker. Simpson seems like he has the much lower ceiling, but a higher floor. He's always available. He started 51 consecutive games over the last 3 years. AVT, much higher ceiling. He's played 4 of the 5 offensive line positions. He's young. He's 26, and there's a lot to like. But I thought, you know what? I think a team might be willing to say, fuck it. And just let's get aggressive for him. Everyone gets overpaid in free agency. Let's take a chance on this young cat. And if we're right, we hit the jackpot. If we're wrong, okay, he's an injured guy and we take the L and we move on. So I've thought for a while that it was very possible this occurred. And Rappaport seemingly confirms that noise that, in fact, AVT could get paid, and I think if he gets paid buco bucks, I don't think it's going to be here with the Jets. So that's the left guard is a need until proven otherwise in free agency, Drew.
Yeah, I firmly agree. I expect Vera Tucker to get a lot more money than people expect for him or are thinking right now. Partly because I think he's just one of the higher ceiling players in the guard class, like you mentioned. When he's healthy, he's just one of the best players in this guard market right now. But also part of it too is, I think when you look at a player, and we talk about injury proneness, when you look at him, there have been so many freak season-ending injuries with him, but there's not a chronic issue. When you look at a guy like when somebody who's had consistent injuries, like it's usually either a hamstring or a knee or a back or stuff that is really continues to come back. But he's had a torn tricep and multiple kind of isolated injuries like that. There's no routine issue with him. So I think that might scare NFL teams a little bit less than if it was a chronic, knee or back or something along those lines. So yeah, I firmly expect him to be in the upper echelon of guard paychecks that we see this year.
So which means, folks, we'll throw up Drew Beatty. He's been waiting with anticipation for this PFF mock draft grade. Here you go. Here's the full package of
That's
picks.
PFF's favorite that I might have ever done.
Yeah, that is. You should print this out and put this on your.
Hanging that on my wall.
Yeah, put it on your wall. Put it on your fridge for Mama. All in the above, Drew Beatty, and here it is. So the second overall pick, you had Texas Tech pass rusher David Bailey. 16th overall safety Dylan Thieneman out of Oregon. Wide receiver Amar Cooper Jr. out of Indiana in the second round. Chase Bisontis in the second round. And someone before the show started, because I told everyone this show was going to happen. So the live link has been up for a bit where people could just see that the show's over there and comment before the show starts. And someone commented at the beginning of the show, I saw it before the show even started, give me 4 starters. That's what they asked the universe. They asked the gods. And as I look at this, I see 4 starters here. I see
those are 4 day one starters.
100%. Definitely the first 3. And to your point, we can argue about if you bring in a veteran and rookie compete for that job, and then you see what happens. But we need to start talking more about it, or a plan. And I'm talking about left guard. Everyone knows that edge rushers need, especially after trading away Jermaine Johnson. Dylan Thieneman, obviously. The Jets are losing Tony Adams, Andre Sisco, Isaiah Oliver. Garrett Wilson, look at last year, okay? It was Jesus. Anyone outside of Garrett Wilson was a tough watch. And then now we go to the guard conversation, which is part of that evolving conversation. So here you go. Here's your overall haul. What do you make of your overall haul here, Drew? Now that you've seen, because you didn't know when you took Dave Bailey edge rusher at second overall that you were going Bisontis at 44. So you're just operating as the general manager. We don't know what's going to happen as these picks come out. So now that they've played out this way, what do you make of it?
Right. Even if there's a couple of players here that I might be personally lower on than where I took them, when you look at this like I am from a predictive lens and what the NFL and the overall consensus thinks of them, I think you're coming away with an incredible draft. Like you mentioned, 4 day one starters. Even with DeSantis, you want to bring somebody in, but I think if you're taking any guard to start in this class as a day one pass protector, to me it's DeSantis. So he's the guy I feel most comfortable in, and I think you can immediately pencil in Cooper as your wide receiver 2, Thieneman as a starting safety. Then Bailey to fill your big need on the edge room. So overall, I think you've gotten 4 consensus top 30 to 40 players, and I think looking at it from a wider lens and more of what the NFL thinks of these guys, I think it's a great draft.
There you go. We will be posting on social media and tagging Drew. So please send any of your hate to Drew. Send any of your love to me. I love getting lovely comments.
Always.
So please, do that. By the way, Stack87 salute. You were the person. He says that was me asking for the first 4 picks to be starters before the show. So Stack87, thank you. And Drew Beatty answered your wish because that's the kind of guy that he is. Drew, we have you here for a few more minutes. Let me ask you, what were your major takeaways from the NFL Combine?
Yeah, I mean, I try not to, or I try to preach this to everybody because the NFL front offices, when we see these guys, well, I shouldn't say all NFL front offices because it's very clear that a lot of these guys do majorly adjust their boards from athletic testing, but I don't think anybody should. Testing numbers should always be a reason. It's just like, if you watch a guy have a great performance at the Shrine Bowl or the Senior Bowl in the All-Star circuit, those performances shouldn't ever make you change your grades. They should only ever make you revisit the tape to maybe see if you missed something. But I don't think that ultimately, like athletic testing, these are the same athletes that we saw move on tape, and no tape has changed since the national championship, right? So I think at the end of the day, this is it's an exercise to go back and confirm things rather than it is a chance to shift your board around a ton. So I think that ultimately, it's there was a lot of fun. Like a couple of guys I mentioned, just to circle back on our pre-combine show, we did like Malachi Lawrence, the edge rusher at UCF. Another guy I mentioned, he was a guy that exploded with like a 4.5. I think he ended up with a 9.9 RAS if you follow the relative athletic score stuff. And then Brennan Thompson, another receiver I mentioned, ran that 4.2, 4.25, 4.26 that he ended up with, the fastest time in the draft this year. So yeah, it's always a lot of fun. It's a great event. We get a lot of info, get a lot of fun trades, like we saw obviously with Jermaine Johnson and Tamondre Sweat. But overall, I think that we overrate the impact the testing has sometimes, both as the NFL and as fans as a whole. But always a fun event, always fun to watch. Love seeing all the testing every year.
Yeah, me too. I think it's a real hoot, folks. We'll do this. Well, let me throw up this super chat here from Jake Asman. Let me put this up in the universe. Wow. Jake Asman says, who do you have winning the Asmaniac Madness? Drew, I don't know how much more of Jets YouTube you take in besides me on a daily or weekly basis, or how often you pay attention to this show. But there's another Jets content creator out in the universe, Jake Asman, and I think this is the coolest thing in the world, so good for him. He creates like a 64-man bracket of his fans, and they get seating based on how often they call into the show, sort of their quality impact on the show. And he has 64 people that he puts on a bracket, and then the fans vote to try to find a winner for the number one caller. Can you imagine? What if I told like my grandpa this in 1960? Hey, grandpa, let me pull you over here. You want to know what we're doing? we're going to be on this YouTube digital show. I'm going to be talking to my computer in this room, and people are going to be calling into the show and doing all kinds of stuff. Like, what do people think of this? Like, again, for Jake, I think it's the coolest thing since sliced bread. I wish, I did something like that. And I love hearing the March Madness music. It was a terrible, sort of version of that. It sounded great in my head for those that are in there. But this is interesting. It's cool for Jake. But yeah, I'm not sure how much, excuse me, Jets content you take in beyond my show, Drew. Do you take in any?
Not much. I followed I know a guy that's on here before me and Dom. I followed his draft content for a while. But as far as like overall Jets content, I can't say that I'm super experienced outside of your show.
Yeah, so I did not get to see the show yesterday, Jake. So I hope this guy should certainly be in the running the bracket. I'm gonna go. And whoever I say it's going to suck because, a bunch of the other people are like, oh, you didn't pick me. So, like, this is terribly, I'm going to get a lot of heat no matter who I say here. But I'm going to go with, give me Uncle Indy. Indy should be in the running. So, Indy, a good caller of the show. We'll say him. But, Jake, thank you for that as well. I appreciate it. All right, Drew, do you want to take a few phone calls before you dip?
Sure. Yeah, I got a little bit more time before we have that here.
All right, here we go. We'll play the phone lines. We'll be back after this.
1, 2, 3. Buzzing daily, buzzing daily, buzzing daily. I'm talking Jets football, man. Buzzing daily, buzzing daily, buzzing daily. The New York Jets Football Club. Offense, defense, special teams, watch Jets football with Boy Green. Everyone,
J-E-T-S, Jets.
Boy Green, buzzing daily, buzzing daily, buzzing daily. Talking Jets football, man. Boy Green, buzzing daily, buzzing daily, buzzing daily. Offense, defense, special teams, watch Jets football with Boy Green.
J-E-T-S, Jets.
Let's go!
Let's go, everybody. Pauliston Jr. here. Boy Green Daily. We have 400 people in the room. Make sure you guys like the video, hit subscribe here on YouTube, and show your support. The phone lines are open. That's a pinned comment on youtube.com/@boygreen25. Again, like the video. That's a free way to contribute. And also, don't be afraid of hitting that subscribe button as well. Like I said, we're only a handful of subscribers away from 8,410, and just trying to keep chipping away. Come on, only 39 likes, but over 100 people in the room. What the hell are you guys doing out there? Come on, man. Don't be holding out on those likes. It's the time of year for giving, right? Maybe? I don't know. I probably made that up. All right, let's go to the phone lines. Troy Sturgis kicks us off. What's up, Troy? Good morning.
Hey guys, hey Drew, nice to meet you.
Yes, sir.
Had a few questions and one comment. Comment is, I hate to be the general managers and the coaches in this combine. I mean, just a couple days ago, I was on the Espresso Club saying I'm diehard for Arvell Reese, but after that Jordan Love interview that I seen, the kid is amazing. He wants to
Jeremiah Love you're talking about, right?
Jeremiah Love, yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. What is there a chance that kid could go at 2?
I don't ever want to rule anything out, but I think at the end of the day that it's pretty unlikely that the Jets take a running back with the state the roster they're in, especially after that trade. They have such a big needed edge, and I think that all of the best players in this draft class are edge rushers at the top. So I think I think you probably see between Arvell Reese and David Bailey, if I had to guess.
And just to jump in here, I heard they asked that question, Troy, to not Jeremiah Love, to same name, Daniel Jeremiah spelled differently. He asked him and said, "Hey, how high could he go?" And Daniel Jeremiah said the conversation starts at 3. I'm sort of like, right immediately after it. That's sort of where the range, like Cardinals, Titans, Giants. We're talking about all these teams that could be in the mix. So yeah, come on. For people who don't know Jeremiah Love and they see those interviews, Troy, how can you not fall in love with the guy?
Right. And also, would like to say I'm going to state my case for Arvell Reese against your David Bailey. Arvell Reese plays a DN. He plays the outside linebacker. He plays a nickel. I mean, how can you not go with a guy like that and pick a David Bailey? Which I'm fine with what you did. I think your draft was great, but my pick would still probably be Arvell Reese.
No, and I totally agree with you. If it were me,
all right,
yeah,
thanks, Troy.
Yeah, thank
Appreciate
you.
It.
Yeah, if it were me, again, I personally prefer Arvell Reese by a good margin. Arvell Reese, my top 3 on my big board is Ruben Bain, Arvell Reese, and Sonny Styles, and they really all graded out the exact
in that
same.
order.
So Bain, Styles, Reese, I think is the order I have them. But again, they all graded out basically the exact same. So you could put them in any order, and they're basically all the same. They're at the top. So I fully agree with you. If I were the Jets, if I was the one in charge, I would pick Arvell Reese. But again, I'm trying to do more predictive after the combine, and I think David Bailey is going to be a guy the NFL is very high on. But no, I totally agree with you that Arvell Reese is the better player.
Hey, by the way, I'm wearing the Notre Dame gear. We're just talking about Jeremiah Love. One of the winners from the combine was it. I'm so sorry, I've been saying it wrong. Mrs. Price, the parents, but Jadarian Price, not Jadarian Price, Jadarian Price.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Yeah. So yeah, I learned that on the the things you learn watching the combine, where they said, "Up, Mama Price." I heard Rich Eisen say that. I was like, "Oh, okay, understood." Jadarian Price. Yeah. Where do you have Jadarian going? Is he a second round guy firmly?
He is, yeah. I have him on the back end of the second round, but I think he goes higher than that in a running back class like this. I wouldn't be surprised at all if he's the second running back off the board. He's my running back 3 overall, and yeah, I firmly expect him to be a borderline top 50 guy.
which, by the way, if that happens, right, because Jeremiah Love is your first running back off the board, yes?
Correct. Yeah.
Okay, yeah, you never know. So if that happens, where Jeremiah Love is the first running back at whatever point, and Jadarian Price is the second running back at any point, it doesn't matter. Do you know the last time in NFL draft history that has happened, where two running backs from the same school were the first two running backs selected in a draft?
Was it Auburn, Ronnie Brown, and Cadillac?
A lot of people have guessed that, actually, but trick question. It's never happened in NFL.
Oh, has it never happened? Wow.
Before. Yes, I just set you up for that because I'm a jerk. But no, and Daniel Jeremiah gave a lot of grade like that. He mentioned the Miami guys where they had like Clinton Portis, or even go back to Arkansas where you had Felix Jones, Darren McFadden, and oh my God, the third one just escaped me. But anyway, may have been Peyton Hillis. But the point is like that it's never happened before in history, and it's setting up to do it. Oh man, that's super cool. All right, back to the phone lines. Hep, you're up next.
Hey guys, hey Paul.
Yes, sir.
I was just curious. Do you see anybody? You see the quarterbacks drop, like maybe Simpson dropping into the top 10, and other quarterbacks possibly falling into the first round? That's all I have for today.
Okay, appreciate it. Thank you, Hep.
Thanks, Hep.
Yeah, so what's the latest draft stock? Because Fernando Mendoza, oh, he's still going number 1 overall. That's too bad. All right, so is Ty Simpson? Does he jump into the top 10 now? Does someone else jump into the QB3? Because I heard some buzz from some of the guys over the weekend. Not first round buzz, but I just heard buzz. So what's the latest you're hearing on quarterback?
Yeah, I still don't think much has changed since the end of the year, honestly, where I think we still see Ty Simpson as firmly the QB2, and I think we do see him go in the first. But I doubt we see top 10 at this point.
Okay.
I just don't think, again, the measurables weren't that crazy. Nothing really jumped at the combine. Like, I thought he threw well, but nothing like, drastic. I still think you probably see somewhere in the back end of the first, maybe between like 20 and 32, somebody comes up to get Ty Simpson, or maybe one of the teams in there that wants to play for the future.
Yeah.
I think it's more likely that somebody jumps up into the back end of the first, like a Jackson Dart type trade from last year.
Okay.
For somebody comes against Ty Simpson. But yeah, I'd be stunned to see any quarterback other than Ty Simpson and Fernando Mendoza go in the first round at this point. I think like you're going to see some guys on day 2, like for sure Garrett Nussmeier. I think potentially Drew Aller from Penn State after he had a great combine. Maybe even Taylon Green from Arkansas, because teams love projects, and he's a guy that's 6'6" and ran a 4.37 and 43.5-inch vertical. They're always going to fall for athletes like that. So I think you could see a lot of guys on day 2 potentially, in Cole Payton to North Dakota State quarterback. But yeah, I think the first round is really just Simpson and Mendoza.
One of my favorite parts of the combine. So they're in Indianapolis, of course, and they do the quarterback drills on Saturday. And Carson Beck, he goes up to throw, right? He's doing these drills, and voracious boos go for the combine. They just like, bow! And they show a camera shot. You're just laughing like, oh my God. Again, Indiana beat Miami, as Rich Eisen continued to point out, in the national championship game. What else do you want? And I saw some people calling it out, classless, all that. Come on, they're fans. I thought it was friggin' hilarious, and I was laughing back here when they start. Every time he would go up for a drill, and it's a wide receiver drill, and they're, bow! Oh my God, that was magical. All right, I'll squeeze one more call in here, Drew. And again, if you have to drop off, I know you have a limited amount of time. You can drop off whatever you have to drop off here, but I want to try to get them in. Ricky, New York Live, please.
Hey, what's happening, guys?
What's up, Ricky?
I have a question. Like, I might have misheard what you were saying because I was kind of doing two things at once. Did you say that you had David Bailey rated as like 40 something overall?
Yeah, he's on the back end of my top 50 on my board.
Okay, like I'm trying to figure, like, you took him at 2, but you've got him ranked.
Yes, I think you're cutting off there, Ricky. But Drew.
Yeah, we might have lost him there.
Yeah, we lost you there on Wi-Fi, Ricky. But I heard the gist of what you just said. Whoa, you took him at 2, but you had him ranked at the back end of your top 50. Drew, please explain again how you operated this mock draft, and quite frankly, how you're operating mock drafts moving forward with your sort of mindset.
Pre-combine, because it's so far away, we don't have much intel. I try to do more off my personal board and what I would do if it was me drafting. But post-combine, when we get closer to the draft, I think it's more valuable to do mock drafts as a predictive exercise and what I think is going to happen. So I think that the NFL is a lot higher on David Bailey than I am, and I think the NFL sees him as a top 5, top 7 player, and I think he's firmly in contention at 2. I personally would not take him there. But again, I think I was trying to do more predictive, and I think it's likely that he'll be on the Jets' radar too.
Right. I mean, me personally, I'm a little bit worried about him because he isn't the strongest guy versus the run, and we've already got one of those in Will McDonald, so like that kind of gives me pause. At first I was a little bit hesitant with Reese because I'm like, God, can we really wait a year for him to develop? But then the more I thought about it, I'm like, listen, if he hits his ceiling, he'll be like, an awesome edge, Micah Parsons type guy. But if he doesn't, he's still a very good off-ball linebacker that can do several things well. So, I've really warmed up to the idea of Reese, and while you guys were doing your mock, I did like my own as I was listening, and I ended up with Reese, Olivenga, Ione at 16, AJ Halsey, and Colton Hood for my top 4 picks, which is not too shabby. That 16 pick is going to be interesting, man. Like, I was really a guy that I wanted like Thieneman at 33. He's not going to be there now for sure. So now I'm like, God, do we take Ione at 16? Do we take CJ Allen? Do we take Thieneman? From a couple of weeks ago, it was kind of like, is there really value at 16? Like I see a lot of guys that I have in the 20s, but now it's all of a sudden there could be several guys there in contention at that spot, the way things have shaken out. But yeah, man, it's going to be interesting. Oh, by the way, now I can't tell you if there's any validity to this or not, but I did get a message from somebody this morning, like before I even woke up. I saw it when I woke up, that said we will be getting Breece Hall news before the end of the day today.
Oh, okay.
I don't know. Like I said, I don't know if there's validity, if he has a source that told him this or what, but we'll see.
So wait a second. Insider Ricky New York Live?
I don't know that I would go that far, but
Ricky, real quick. I know, Drew, you have to drop off. Ricky, you stay on. We can continue to talk, but Drew, thank you so much as always for your Monday coverage.
Thank you guys. Appreciate it.
Week. Thanks, pal. There he is, Drew Beatty, joining us here on the program. So I was just reading because Zach Rosenblatt has like an insider piece, like here's everything that I heard, and sort of dumps out his notebook. And there are some interesting Breece Hall nuggets in here. And let me see, what was let's talk about this first. Over the weekend, the Jets, said, or, people said for the Jets that they are likely to use the transition tag. But Connor Hughes says the Jets would prefer to use no tag. So if it's news before the end of today, I would imagine maybe they're getting closer to the goal line for the conversations. And in Zach Rosenblatt's piece, the nugget I was going to bring up is apparently the transition tag is $11.3 million. The franchise tag is $14.3. And Zach Rosenblatt says the Jets are trying to negotiate a number that's in between those two. That's very fair to Breece, more than fair to Breece, quite frankly. So, maybe that's the news.
Maybe. Like, only time this person ever told me anything that turned out to be true was Michael Carter, the corner. And but there were a lot of other people that like broke that all at the same time. So I can't look at this person as a source quite yet, but who knows if this turns out to be right, then possibly moving forward, I'll be able to put more weight on the things that he says. But
hey, can you real quick? There's a controversy. I'm not sure if you're ready to address it here on the show, but there's a controversy I need to bring to your attention. Jets Johnny says that Ricky's trying to steal votes by breaking news.
Oh, wait a minute.
I think in reference to Asmaniac Madness, that you could be trying to curry favor with breaking news on this show. How do you meet those allegations?
Am I in that thing?
I have no
this year?
idea. I didn't get a chance to watch it yesterday, unfortunately. So sorry, Jake. I was running around Combine and the family. So the show did drop yesterday, but I have no idea who's.
I didn't get to watch it, and to be honest, I haven't really called in lately.
No.
It was my intention to kind of sit this year out.
I see
that thing.
Yeah.
It's not really up to me. But
so you gave yourself a postseason ban, is what you're saying? You're a self-imposed.
Well, the way it went last year, and I don't want to say it was like recency bias, but like there were kind of newcomers that were like the current hotter callers that got votes above some of like the OG guys.
We need some respect for the OGs, man. We need some respect for the OGs.
But you know what? And the thing is like last year I was up against like a couple of people that I really, really liked and personally, and it sucked knocking them out. And I think like one of my first matchups was Dark Knight Steve. Like,
right.
Him and his family were just like recovering from a bad car accident, and I'm like, I don't want to knock this guy.
That's not right.
And it sucked. And there was a couple of people that I went against that were like really, really disappointed. And I'm like, man, and not that it didn't mean anything to me because it was an honor. I mean, I made it to like the final 8. So
that's pretty good, man.
I was super appreciative of that. The number of votes that I got in some of those things, hell, I didn't even think that many people knew who I was. But
we all know who you are, Ricky, New York Live.
But man, I guess I felt a certain amount of guilt for knocking certain people out, and and like I said, not that it didn't mean anything to me, but I think it might have meant more to them than it did to me, and so.
Hey, Ricky, what's the phrase? What's the phrase? You got to crack a few eggs to make an omelet, baby. That's how it happens.
I guess so.
That's it, baby. Come on, Ricky. Yeah, you're the man. And you know what? People have to fall. Blood has to be spilled in the streets. That's just how it works. Oh, yeah.
Right on. Well, you know what? I appreciate you having me on, as always, Paul. And
some plugs?
Don't really have a lot else to add, but
hey, give a quick promotion. Come on, man.
Yes, coming up, Ricky New York Live. Oh my goodness. I'm blanking for a minute here. Okay, we got shows this Thursday, the following Tuesday, the following Saturday. So I believe it's like the 10th, the 14th, the 19th, the 24th, and the 28th. There you go. I was able to crank those off the top of my head for the month of March, and got some good stuff coming up. I don't want to go out on a limb and say some things before they're confirmed, but I'm talking to a couple of different guests that I'm looking forward to having, and doing some really, really cool draft content as we get closer, and free agency. Also, right now, I think most of my stress is on free agency and what are we going to do? Are we going to be bargain shopping again? Are we going to, make a splash? What's it going to be? And I'm looking supremely forward to that because that gives us a much better idea of how the draft's going to unfold. If we add a Blankenship or like Cook from Kansas City or a guy like that, a safety, then maybe we don't need to draft a Thieneman early. If we can get a Romeo Dobbs, maybe we don't have to worry about getting a receiver early. So, I'm looking forward to free agency because it's going to kind of clarify what we're going to do draft wise. So, you know what? I think that between the money and all the ammo we've got, we're in a prime position to get this thing turned around. I actually sat down last night and made the thumbnail for the next show, and it's like a Jets colored transformer. How Aaron Glenn will transform the Jets.
I love
Well,
that.
I have fun making the thumbnails and you know, thinking up stuff, and I've got to think of something for our March giveaway. If anybody has any suggestions, please let me know.
No.
But party with Peg and Artie, and you know, we know Artie was not feeling well recently. But Artie ended up winning the signed Curtis Martin photo on Saturday night.
That's so cool.
he was our winner for February. So couldn't have gone to a better person. Awesome. But dude, I appreciate you. I appreciate all you guys out there who have given me a lot of support and a lot of love, and appreciate everyone. And I will see you guys on Thursday.
There he is, Ricky New York Live, baby, joining us here on the program. I need to make sure I get to this news again. And thank you to Ricky. That was awesome having him on the show here as we surpass the hour mark on the program. We have 500 people in the room. Make sure you guys like the video, hit subscribe here. We'll go through some latest insider nuggets from some articles that we're hearing. But before that, this became official yesterday. So let's hit it. Officially joined the Boy Green Espresso Club, baby. Yes.
Who wanna fly with
Shout out to Hep. We officially got him part of the Boy Green Espresso Club. If you guys are like, what the hell is that? Well, I've got information for you folks. We have 2 YouTube membership groups on this channel if you want to help support the show. The Boy Green Coffee Club, it's $2.99 a month. You get loyalty badges, emoji, early access to new videos. We're going to have some big guests coming up on the program, member shout-outs, priority reply to comments. But in the month of January, we created a new level. It's called the Boy Green Espresso Club. Shout out to Terrence for coming up with that name. And it's members-only content. That's the thing that's most important about these levels is members-only shorts. I tell you all kinds of fun stories and things of that nature, which is a great time. And then members-only live streams. At the end of every month, we do a members-only live show. We did one at the end of January. It went 4.5 hours. We did one on Saturday, February 28th. It went 4 hours. So apparently just always going 4 hours. So it's once a month at the end of the month, and it's a lot of fun, the Boy Green Espresso Club. So Hep, we have now gotten in there, and Hep became our 30th member of the Boy Green Espresso Club. So I've been absolutely overwhelmed by your guys' support for this new venture. We've had great conversation talking about family, talking about football. We got into the combine because Saturday was the big day with quarterbacks, running backs, wide receivers. So we got into that. We got into some drinking. There was a lot going on there. A lot going on there. If you become a Boy Green Special Club member like Hep did yesterday, you could go back and watch any of the content. It is all unlocked for you. It's not available for the public, not available for the Boy Green Coffee Club. So salute to the Boy Green Espresso Club and Hep getting 5 raffle tickets. That's the other perk is if you're a Boy Green Espresso Club member, you get 5 raffle tickets for our monthly contest and 5 raffle tickets continue forever as long as you remain a member to the Boy Green Espresso Club. By the way, there's a couple of news items in the NFL, a couple of news items are just coming in here. Wow. Even more coming up right now. Here we go. All right, so there's a trade in the middle of this show. The Cleveland Browns are getting Titus Howard from the Houston Texans for a 5th-round pick. And then the Browns immediately gave Titus Howard a $63 million deal, so a brand new contract for him. So again, Titus Howard from the Texans to the Browns and then immediately got a $63 million extension. So very nice there for Titus Howard. The Chiefs are releasing Jawan Taylor. Barring a last-second trade, he will be cut. Man, we are in it now, folks. We are in it now. The news, the nuggets, everything. We'll be back on. I'm not getting off right now, but I'm just saying we will be back on as well. We're live right now, but we'll be live again at 11 o'clock, reacting to the NFL quarterback carousel. There's a lot of nuggets coming out. So for our Jets, some important information will be coming out on that show. That'll be live at 11 o'clock. So we will be live a second time later today. I also want to get into the comments as well. So a lot of fun stuff. Shout out to Terrence. I see you in here. Beautiful. Craig Mechanic said, missed it. My sleep schedule was so messed up. Yeah, it's, to be honest, my sleep schedule is messed up because after Saturday night, it goes to like 12:31 in the morning, and then I still have Boy Green Daily the next day. So it's a lot of weird shuffling around, but I love doing it, and I'm glad that the people love doing it. I've received a lot of nice messages, whether live on those shows or after the show, saying thanks for doing it. So that's been a lot of fun. Let's get into some of these Brees Hall nuggets. Continue to ask any questions that you have on the Jets or the Combine. I watch all the Combine coverage, so I could give you answer anything that you would like out there in the universe. We can do that as well. Again, Zach Rosenblatt dropped, a rumor piece of everything that he's hearing at the Combine and the Brees Hall negotiations. Before I even get into any of that, for folks who don't know, the franchise tag window closes tomorrow. So today is Monday, March 2nd. Tomorrow, March 3rd, the franchise tag window closes. What does that mean? That means the Jets and every other team in the league that's considering using the franchise tag has to use it by tomorrow, or else that player will be a free agent or scheduled to be a free agent. You could work out, in theory, if the Jets did not tag Brees Hall, they will tag Brees Hall. But if they did not tag Brees Hall, they would have from March 3rd to March 11th to still hammer out a long-term deal if they want. And then if they do, that player would not hit free agency. But if you don't get tagged, it behooves you to try to make it to the open market to make it happen. March 9th is the legal tampering period. That's when teams can speak with players that are set to be free agents, talk contracts, and talk all that stuff. And then on the 11th, so let me rephrase that. So March 9th at 12 o'clock, noon, high noon, okay? Legal tampering period. That legal tampering period is open through free agency. So it's from March 9th to March 11th. And then on March 11th at 4 o'clock, free agency officially starts. So at 4 o'clock, the Jermaine Johnson, T'Vondre Sweat trade becomes official. This Titus Howard trade that just happened becomes official. You can officially start signing players. So we are, again, in the heat. A lot of this news, nuggets, and everything's going to happen. So again, the Jets have till tomorrow to slap a franchise tag. From that perspective. So we'll see if they end up doing that. But the latest that Zach Rosenblatt is hearing on Brees Hall is that this is a guy, the conversations have been ongoing. According to league sources, the expectation is the Jets will use the cheaper transition tag on Hall if they can't come to a contract agreement in time. The transition tag is $11.3 million versus the franchise tag, which is $14.3 million. The Jets would like to sign Hall to a multi-year deal, according to league sources, and they believe that number will come somewhere between the transition and franchise tag on a per-year basis. So it would be between $11.3 million and $14.3 million on a multi-year deal. So big money coming for Brees. If it lands in the $12 to $13 million per year range, Hall would become one of the top 5 or 6 highest paid running backs in football. He'd either be right behind Alvin Kamara, right in front of, depending on where that number officially lands. So wow. It really sounds like, and he also said in this piece that the tag and trade is not something the Jets are thinking about. That is not part of their thought process for tagging Brees, and that there is genuine interest in keeping him. So sorry, Lou B out in our audience. We talked about, like, if he, things can change. You could tag him and then you just can't reach a destination, and then he could be tagged and traded. Like, it's possible, I suppose. But according to Zach Rosenblatt, that's not part of the Jets' thought process. Uncle Indy predicts Brees will get $12 million per year. Man, that'd be, again, I go back and forth on Brees a lot on whether I want to go to this place of money, which apparently is where the Jets are swimming. But he's 24 years old. We haven't utilized him to his maximum potential, certainly. And I would love to see him do that. Scott says he'd prefer a tag and trade if possible, but again, apparently that's not part of the Jets' current thought process, according to The Athletic. They're not even thinking about that. They want to genuinely keep him long-term, and if they tag him, it's only as a means to make sure he doesn't hit free agency so they can work out a long-term deal. But if they do the transition tag, he will be allowed to talk to other teams in free agency. Indy's rooting for Kyle Clifton to win Madness. That'd be great. I love Kyle. Kyle's a great caller to the show. Always informative. Always just, whether you agree or disagree with his takes, he has takes. I respect that. Jet Jara says, what about that carrot top mullet on Dunker? Wow, legendary. And they had the slow-mo camera going too. Yeah, the hair, yesterday was offensive line day at the Combine, and they were highlighting the greatest mullets that have ever come across the Combine, and the Wisconsin waterfall Joe Tippmann got a lot of love at the Combine, which was cool. So salute to Joe Tippmann. Hopefully the Jets get a deal extension done with Joe Tippmann. He is eligible for an extension this offseason. I want him. I want Olumuyiwa. I want Armand Membu. I want those three to be together forever. So hopefully the Jets can make that happen. Keb says, it wasn't easy to join the Espresso Club, but I did it. I appreciate so much the level of effort that you went through, Hep, to join the Espresso Club. That's very meaningful. I appreciate that. For anyone that decided, I didn't know what the response was going to be for the Boyd Green Espresso Club, this new membership level. But again, my goal for that level was to create more intimacy between us and the show. You know, the show's going on right now, and I'm trying to come back through and answer as many comments as I can. But, you know, there's topics and all kinds of craziness happening. On those Espresso Club shows, it's just me and the other now 30 people that are in the room. So they're more intimate conversations. There are conversations. You can call in. You can ask questions about anything and everything. So I appreciate the level of commitment you had, Hep, to join the Espresso Club. That's very meaningful. And thank you to everyone that's joined it so far. It's been a lot of fun. Let me see other comments here. Let me see. Yeah. Oh, yeah. I didn't see. I have not seen Asmaniac. I have not seen any brackets or anything, but good for him. That's a super cool thing that they're doing. I will tell you guys, it's not Asmaniac Madness related. It's our own. But we're working on something pretty special behind the scenes for the Boyd Green Coffee Club. So hopefully details to come this week. Mark Sacchetti, Kalen Black in for a top 30 visit with the Jets. I saw Brian Costello. Thank you to Brian Costello for revealing that source. Yeah, teams are having these top 30 visits where you could have draft prospects in your facilities. Top 30, you're allowed to have 30 of them. Now, if they're local products, they don't count against the top 30. So I'd have to check the exact square footage of the rule. But does Syracuse count? Is it just Rutgers? I need to see what's the square footage of what counts as a local prospect visit, and you can have unlimited amount of those. But obviously, Kalen Black as an Indiana guy, that is unrelated. But the Macho Maine, let's go Irish. Yeah, baby. Here we go. Yeah, let's go, baby. The Golden Domers. Yeah. Again, Jadarian Price, Jeremiah Love. Unfortunately, Malachi Fields sort of had a rough go at the combine. That was unfortunate for him. Hey, look at this. A 5-pack of Boyd Green Coffee Club memberships being gifted. Let's go. Live for Live. Devin, who just, by the way, another congratulations. He won our raffle for the month of February.
It's Jets, Jets. I love Fireman Ed, too.
So thank you, Devin, a.k.a. DNY for Life, baby. Let's add that to your total. This is for our brand new raffle this month, which I'll be revealing the prizes here in a little bit. Here are the 5 new members, by the way, to the Boyd Green Coffee Club. Let's give a shout out to all these new members. We've got Mute Viles. He's back. We got Chris Bradigan. Welcome back. We have Boogie Down Dave. He's back. Keith Kirkwood is back. And Derek the Cop. You guys are all now members to the Boyd Green Coffee Club. Baby, appreciate you guys out in the audience. Tip of the cap to you. Tip of the cap to you. Make sure you guys like the video, hit subscribe. Thank you, Devin, for that. Again, 5 raffle tickets. Let's go back to the phone lines. Let's look at who's back. It's so nice. You got it dip twice. Ep. What's up, Ep?
Hey, Paul, I was curious. Can people give espresso memberships as well?
That's a good question. I've never seen it happen, but I don't know why not. But I'm not sure. That's a good question.
How would they go about that? Would it be the same procedure, or they would just?
Well, actually, let me look. Let me see. So I'm going to try it right now. Let me see. Hit the little money sign. Membership gifting. Does it tell you? No, it's not really showing on my side. So maybe because I'm me, I can't see it. But yeah, so someone, if you want, out in the audience, feel free to attempt to gift a espresso club and see if it works. I don't know. Maybe I can't see it, like I said, because I'm on my side. But that's a good question. That'd be cool if you could. Yeah.
Yeah, I was just curious because I would like to see, if we can get Bob in there, because Bob would it'd be a little easier for him because of the timing and stuff, I think. Right?
Oh, yeah, for sure. Right. And then again, it's just there is I mean, this is the internet, so I guess anyone could call in and say whatever they want at any time. But there just feels like another safeguard in a good way, not safeguard like it takes away conversation, like it opens up conversation for the Espresso Club. Because again, it is just us. We're all hanging out at the bar basically, and we're having there's no mics, there's no cameras, there's no nothing. We're all just yammering about whatever in the universe. Oh, that'd be super cool. So yeah, that'd be great. I'd love to get Bob in there. That'd be fun.
Yeah, that really would be. It would be cool if we can get maybe one of his old Jet pals to get on with us too. That would be really cool.
I will tell you this. I don't think I've said this anywhere publicly, so I appreciate. And apparently they say so Indy just said they only let you gift whatever the standard membership level is. So that's too bad. So apparently you can't gift those out. But thank you, Uncle Indy. I had no idea for that. Something we were working on it a couple weeks ago. So I have to connect again with Bob. But he thinks that he has somebody to come on. And so maybe Espresso Club is the best way to do it because then we don't have the limitations of, it'll be easier to figure out. It'll be far enough in advance so I can help whoever that is. And I don't want to be an ageist. I have no idea if that person's going to have any problems with getting on, whoever this person is.
Sure.
I don't even know if he named the person to me yet, but no, yeah. So he's talking about that. So getting Bob and him as part of it, we're all just watching a show. Oh my gosh, that'd be amazing.
Yeah, that'd be great. Anyway, so that's all I got today. I mean, I'm anxious to see what's going to go on here. And it looks like the Giants are going to make a play for Love.
Yeah. So Zach Rosenblatt in his piece, there's a lot of Jet stuff here. I haven't dove into it fully because this show starts earlier on Monday. So some of my prep time dies. So I have to go back and see it after. But he had strong sourcing that the Giants are going after Kenneth Walker, like aggressively, if he reaches the open market. And then I heard over the weekend, they said Jeremiah, like the Giants are very serious about getting aggressive and could go Jeremiah Love. And I'm like, oh my gosh, that would be, like I said, it would hurt my heart because Jeremiah Love is so amazing that I would.
Yeah.
But we have Brees, so like that would be incredibly reckless to, franchise tag or sign him long term and then just fuck it, Jeremiah Love. That would be super cool. We'd be scoring points, which again, me and you have talked about this for a long ass time. That would be magical. Let's just score a bunch of points and get as much offensive firepower as possible. But oh my gosh, yeah. So apparently the Giants running back rumors, I've now heard it from like 3 or 4 insiders.
Yeah,
like it sounds super serious. They're making a big swing, whether it's a free agent splash or Jeremiah Love or something. So
they're trying to fix that. They're trying to fix that Barkley mistake.
Mm-hmm.
They're going back in time.
I told Lurch, he didn't listen to me. I told him, he's like, I can't wait to get, Barkley, see ya. And I'm like, that's a mistake. You got to keep him. You're get rid of Daniel Jones. Who is Daniel Jones? Keep Barkley. Keep Barkley. Yeah. He went running backs. I'm like, okay. And he goes to the Eagles, and then they win a Super Bowl, and then go crazy. And I'm like, you have no one to blame but yourself, pal.
I don't care. I don't know. We spoke about this before. I don't understand the devaluation of the running back position. We just see them every week getting first downs and scoring touchdowns. But whatever. I guess they're lame players, so they just get the ball half the time. But anyway.
I hate that dime a dozen. Oh, okay, all right. Yeah. The playoffs, when the game's on the line at the end of the game, you're putting the ball in the belly of the running back to finish off the game, to close it out. Unbelievable.
Anyway, thanks, guys.
Appreciate you, Hep. There he is, Hep, again, the latest member to the Boy Green Espresso Club. All right, let's go to a super chat here before we go back to the phone lines. It's my buddy Hennessy Heisman, baby, here on the program. Let's go. Every time we get a super chat, we hear from my daughter, Zariah Luna. Wow. Oh, I love this question. Come on, Hennessy. This is what I'm talking about. This revs my engine. BG, who are your top 3 free agents we go after? On the Thursday show this week on Boy Green Meets Woody, which is our 3:00 show, this is one of our favorite shows we do every year. I could speak for Woody on this one. The top 5 calls we would make if we were the New York Jets. Like, which free agents are we giving a call? So I'll sort of give you a sneak peek here of some of the players I'm considering in this top 5. Who are my top 3 free agents? So I've explained on Tyler Linderbaum before how I would aggressively go after him. It would be a lot of Buco bucks, and it would be very aggressive, but he would be one of the top free agents. You at least call. Does it happen? I don't know, but at least call, engage the market and see if that's possible, if there's any interest back and forth. I am a massive Devin Lloyd fan. This is a freak of nature. He got his 5th-year option declined by the Jaguars. Last year, 5 picks, disruptive, explosive. I mean, he is just a turnover machine, and this Jets defense so desperately needs it. Think about this. Devin Lloyd had more picks last year than obviously the Jets as a whole, but like he had more of, regardless, put away any of his other takeaways, just the 5 picks he had was more than the entire Jets defense combined. I'm talking about fumbles, I'm talking about interceptions, I'm talking about everything. He outdid the entire New York Jets defense. So Devin Lloyd's a monster. The Jets have the money. Linebacker is such a big need. People over or underrate what linebackers are, and the captain of your defense, the second level. Devin Lloyd would 1,000% be one of the free agents I go after at linebacker. He's a former first-round draft choice of the Jacksonville Jaguars. So Linderbaum's on that list for me. Devin Lloyd is on that list for me. Let me see, what other position could I go after? Another one I really like, I'm going after, this is, some defensive splash here, but a guy I really like, Odafe Oweh, former first-round pass rusher of the Baltimore Ravens. He got traded last year to the LA Chargers. Odafe Oweh is going to be 27 by the start of the 2026 season. This is a guy who is just super talented. He's obviously, built like a freaking Mack truck, for goodness sake. He was, and this could be a coming home story, he was born in Hackensack, New Jersey. And he went to high school in New Jersey. He was a Penn State college player. Could be coming home. He's 6'5", 265 pounds. Again, he's got sort of this Adonis body to him. And last year he had 7.5 sacks. He had nothing with the Ravens, and then you just saw all spark and click there with the Chargers. So I just think if you use him correctly, he could be terrific. And I think the Jets should dip into defense multiple times. What I mean by that is obviously the second overall pick looks very likely that's going to be a front 7 player, like an edge player. And I wouldn't be afraid to dip in free agency before we even get there. Again, he had that 10-sack season in 2024 at the Ravens. Then this past season, between the Ravens and Chargers, he had 7.5 sacks. All of those 7.5 sacks came when he got to the Chargers. So 17.5 sacks the last 2 years. If you look at the quarterback hit numbers, he's over 41 quarterback hits over the last 2 years. So the production is just insane. 18 tackles for loss over the last 2 years. So give me those three in no particular order. Tyler Linderbaum, the Baltimore Ravens center, Jacksonville Jaguars linebacker Devin Lloyd, and then I would go after pass rusher Odafe Oweh of the LA Chargers. So those would be top 3 free agents I would go after. That would be, yeah. Obviously, there's quarterback conversations, but, that can sort of kill. The top 3 free agents could all be these crazy quarterbacks that you decide to go after, although there's not a lot of great options out there, if I'm being honest. But Hennessy Heisman, love these kind of questions. So anytime you guys got questions like this, lay them on me, baby. I appreciate it. So thank you for the super chat. We added that to your raffle ticket total. Great. I love those kind of questions. Thank you very much. All right, let me just see. Did I miss any other super chats from any of you guys out in the universe? By the way, if you want to send in a super chat, all you have to do is hit that little money sign if you're watching on YouTube, baby. Let's frickin' go. Oh, that's a cool stat. NC Green. BG, over 200 individual players had more interceptions than the entire Jets team. Thank you for that, NC Green. I wanted a real swift kick in the loins. Earlier, I did see, I think I missed it. MC Show Digital was chiming in. Where did I... Oh, there he is. Yeah, so MC Show Digital. Again, we'll be live at 11 o'clock addressing the latest NFL rumors. Love a Giant. Love it. Got to redeem the Barkley sin. I told Manchild he didn't listen to me when I told him, hey, you got to keep that Saquon Barkley guy. He did not listen. So, again, Jeremiah Love, New York Giants love here in the chat. All right, there you go. And I was just seeing, yeah, so there you go. And by the way, all the Chief stuff, where, Jeremiah Love is going to go to the Chiefs. By all the current buzz, I don't think he's going to the Chiefs. I don't think he's going to be there. I think someone's going to either jump in front or just take him. I think Jeremiah Love is going like top 5. So we'll see. Speaking of love, if there's any caller I love, it's this man. Lou B, Super Jets fan, baby.
BG.
Yes, sir.
Love goes to the Giants. I will be sick to my stomach. There's nothing. I hate Philadelphia fans, Miami fans, and third is Giant fans. We will never hear the end of this on a Sunday when this guy's busting 80-yarders. Right. That will make me so sick, and it should make every Jet fan sick because we're about to pass on a guy who's going to go to the Pro Bowl in his first year on a guy that your pro just ranked at 44 on his list. That is crazy to me. And I said it,
Yeah.
and I asked Drew last week, Membo versus Bailey, 10 out of 10 times. He said Bailey would win once. I mean, that's not a guy that we want to use our second pick on. And I think this combine changed everything this weekend. Frank Wright was at the end. He was like watching those quarterbacks. He was on the field by himself. I saw Richie from New York Jets media doing an interview, and he was like, Frank's out there, but this guy's probably saying, do I push for one of these quarterbacks or not? And I have to say, Ty Simpson looked head and shoulders over everybody. And we are so quarterback starved right now that I have to think that they really must be considering taking Ty, and where they have to jump to. Is it, do they have to jump to Cleveland? And believe me, it's not what I would want to do. But then when you think about it, I know me and you love the movie Interstellar.
Oh, yeah.
And I actually watched it last night because I was so upset about the draft. Yeah, because I'm trying to, again, I would watch it again. I'm so worried about a few players in this draft of us banging on the wall. If anyone didn't see Interstellar, you just have to see this movie. It's
100%.
one of the greatest movies of all time. And it's him looking through all different time and, all different episodes of his life. And I'm very afraid that we are banging on that wall at the draft. And there's 3 players I'm scared that could be.
Okay.
One is Arvell Reese saying, oh my God, we passed on Michael Parsons.
Yeah.
2 is obviously Jeremiah Love, because I think this is going to be a huge mistake. I firmly believe that Brees is not going to be here. I think we're going to figure that out real soon.
Okay.
And the other one is Ty Simpson, because I'm scared that we had the chance to pass and we pass on him, and he probably does have potential. And I just think this combine changed a lot. I think some guys like Lemon dropped off. This one dropped off. Who do we really look at 16 if he's even there? But what do you think, BG?
Yeah, I agree with you that I think there are certain players in this draft scared the reverse way of that. You just say, oh my God, like if we pass on this guy and then he's a superstar with everyone else, we're all sitting at that bar 5 years from now going, damn it, we said it. They should have done this. They should have grabbed this player. They should have grabbed that one. And I agree with you. Yeah, to hear that Drew Beatty, and again, every draft analyst is different, but he has David Bailey barely inside the top 50, and we're taking that guy at 2. Like, I know
we got Will McDonald. We have Will McDonald.
Yeah,
we have Will McDonald.
That's what makes me nervous. I know Connor Rogers is super high on David Bailey, and I like Connor a lot, but like, man, the fact that a lot of people can't pound the table and say, don't worry, he's going to be good against the run. Not enough people are saying that. I just don't, with all due respect to Will McDonald, I want someone that I think can be a transcendent superstar. And I think I feel that way about Arvell Reese. Has that potential to be that guy. Or as we've talked about with Jeremiah Love, that who do you just feel like you just have to bet your career you think they're going to be really good? I think the Jets need really good football players, and it doesn't matter what position they play because we need like every position. So who's the guy that you feel the best about that when you take this guy, we're going to fast forward 5 years from now, and you're not going to be like, oh, that was a bust. Like, who do you feel about that? And I think a lot of people are saying, oh, well, Jeremiah Love. And I'm like, well, all right, then what's going on? So, yeah, that I am a little fearful that they pass on a player or two that I love. Yeah.
Yeah, my last thing is I actually did make the as Maniac Madness bracket actually. Okay. So
what was your
I'm
seed?
Asking. I'm definitely low. I'm against JJ, which little background. JJ made a deal. JJ reminds me of you, BJ.
Okay.
Because he made a deal that if something happened, he would shave his head, and he didn't. And he didn't, BJ.
And so wait, he lost a bet and didn't do it.
He didn't do it. And it brings me right to you and Alan's bet, right? That you shaved off your beard, which is a big, thing of you, right? Yes. And he broke his word. So I'm asking every Boy Green fan to jump onto those brackets, sign up, and vote for me for the love of the respect we have of BG that he shaved off his whole effing beard. You cannot vote for JJ over me. And that's it. That's my little
well, before you go, Before you, I just have to say this. Of course, I obviously wanted to vote for you anyway, Luby. But you tell me this: when we go into the grave, Luby, and I hope for me and you, it's not for a while. But whenever I do, all I'm gonna have is my word. When I'm going 6 feet into that grave, that's all you have. You need to be a man of your word. And if you make a stupid bet, which I did, believing in my team, so I don't regret nothing. But you put your word on the line, and then you just say in your own head, like, fuck it. Even if I lose, I'm not going to do it. That's bullshit.
That's right. My word is everything to me. You know that, BG. I always keep my word, right?
Yeah.
And if I say it, I do it. And you just, as a Jet fans, I'm asking you to jump on there and vote for me. And 100%. Lastly, I am a double espresso club member, and we had a great talk for like 2 hours on Saturday. I thought it was awesome because you can say different things and you could talk a little bit more freely, and I expressed some stuff there, right? So I think everyone joined this. It was great. Everyone got on. It was hilarious. Just a little highlight. Easy was deep in the bottle, deep so much that I think he passed out. He was like snoring at one point, but he was telling stories that were unbelievable. And I was just like, me and Johnny were looking at each other like, holy shit, did he just say that? Easy may have, I don't know what to say, but you know what I know, it was pretty crazy. Well, you guys have a great day, and that's it, BG.
I appreciate you. Oh my God. Yes. Again. One of the perks, again, if you join the Boy Green Espresso Club today, you can go back and watch those shows. There's its own playlist. It's a Boy Green Espresso Club. Oh my goodness. Crying. That was unbelievable. The things that happen on that show are wow. But come on. I don't know who this JJ guy is, but fuck this JJ guy. Are you kidding me? I don't know any of the context of this bet, but come on, dude. I was in no rush to shave my beard. It's my brand. I love my beard. My fiance loves my beard. My children love the beard. They love yanking it and punching me and everything else with it. Come on, man. Come on. That's wow. For that reason alone, we should all unite and come together. That's disrespectful. That's terrible. That is, wow. No. Well, folks, again, I would have voted for Luby anyway because he's my guy. But now now I'm not voting for him for love for Luby. I'm voting for hate for JJ. Like, screw you, buddy. Unbelievable. That's disgusting. Anywho, we got 500 people in the room. My blood started boiling there. We have over 100 of those 500 watching on YouTube right now. Guys, like that friggin' video. That is a free way to contribute to the show. Help get this Jet show in front of other Jet fans out there in the audience, baby. 63 likes, but over 100 people in the room. Come on, people. Just make it a part of your routine. All right. And every time you come in, just say, hey, everybody, say hello in the comment section, then pow, hit that like button. Pow, pow. Do a little pow, pow, pow. You know, some of that actually, feel me a little pow action. Huh? Come on now. Let's go. Let's have a good time. By the way, speaking of having a good time, cheers out to the audience. Again, over the weekend, we surpassed over 8,400 subscribers. We are 4 away from 8,410. So, folks, make sure you guys jump on the train, baby. Excellent. By the way, also, I want to give a shout out here. I see MC Show Digital as here in the chat. The way that thing is going back, I might have to change your nickname to Graybeard. Bye, Boy Green. Yeah, there's a lot of gray happening. I don't know if it's coming on camera here, but there's a lot of gray happening here. I may have to. But by the way, let's help. Speaking of helping our subscribers jump up to another level here. I know I've got it here in front of me. 1 second. Here it is. Folks, make sure you're subscribed to at MC Show Digital. We're 10 subscribers away from 700. Let me say that one more time. We are 10 subscribers away from 700. So I'm going to drop this in the YouTube comment section for the 100 plus people that are here in the room. Jump over and subscribe to this channel, baby. Subscribe right now. There you go. Here it is, baby. We'll drop that into the YouTube comment section. There you go. Subscribe right now. We're 10 away from 700. Push us over the goal line there at MC Show Digital. Again, we will be live on the MC Show Digital show coming up at 11 o'clock. So, folks, make sure you guys jump on in there. Make sure you guys do that. So, salute to MC Show Digital, the Man Show Boy Green Digital. 10 subscribers away from 700. Let's get to 700 here on the show, live on the program. We got a phone call to get you. Let me also answer a few comments. Still the real AD. BG, what's the name of the Patriots defender that your father told us about a couple of days ago? Oh, Jalen Hawkins, I believe. Yeah, let me pull him up here real quick. Jalen Hawkins. Oh, yeah, I always spell his name wrong. It's spelled weird. Jaylinn. Does his parents just hate him? Like, why did he spell Jalen this way? But anywho, that's neither here nor there. Yeah, it's Jalen Hawkins. He's an interesting cat. Let's see. He's a safety, 28, will turn 29 before the start of the 2026 season. You know, he sort of bounced around, was a former Falcons draft choice, then was on the Chargers, then was on the Patriots. He's sort of been a journeyman of sorts. So an interesting name. So shout out to Hop on Pop for that one. I like the deep dive there. The deep cut, as the kids say. So feel free. For sure. All right, let's do this. Let's go back to the phone lines. We've got this guy on the move. It's Johnny Boy, part of the Jets Worldwide team, JWW.
What up, BG? Good morning, man. How you holding up?
Hey, good morning, man. Is that coffee in your hand? How is that?
Of course, man. Coffee's great. Coffee's good.
Yeah, okay. Okay, very nice. What's your coffee order, by the way? What's in that cup?
Some raw sugar and just black coffee.
Okay. Oh, there you go. Well, your way to live life. Vida la loca.
It's
okay.
Colombian
What's on your mind?
coffee, though. Like,
I
like my Colombian beans.
Are you Colombian?
No, I'm Ecuadorian.
Ah, okay. Do you guys make coffee or what?
We do, but
okay. I'm gonna check that out.
It's tough to get Ecuadorian coffee.
Well, you're Johnny Boy. You're telling me they can't sort of deliver that royalty wise, but I guess that's neither here nor there. Yeah, I was going to notice that too. Hennessy Heisman says my man has a home mug in the car. Like, look at this. This is a regular run of the mill mug. Are you allowed to bring those out on the road? Do those even fit in the cup holder?
Yeah, I mean, when you got a big truck, you know the.
Oh, I see.
The
but is there an angle for the handle? Because that'd be my problem. It'd just spill all over the place. It wouldn't fit in my cup holder.
Yeah, I mean, they have like little splits in there, so you could put your coffee mugs in there.
Oh, okay, yeah. Because I was going to throw the challenge flag there too. I was like, wow, okay, he's taking it on the road. But okay,
yeah,
all right.
Look, I could put it down. I don't know. You know?
Okay, look, okay, I believed you. But anywho, yeah, see, hands free. Yeah, who's driving? Whoa! All right, anywho, what's on your mind, Johnny Boy?
Hey, did you see that cryptic text that Brees put out?
No. Wait, when?
Yesterday. He put out.
Oh, yeah. Let me go over to Brees's social media. Love doing this.
He reposted. All right. Shout out to Dano because Dano put me onto it. I don't want to take credit for it.
Okay.
And it pretty much was something to the sense of like.
Oh, I see. Okay, so here's the quote. I'm assuming this is what you're talking about. He reposted this yesterday for all the not social media people. That means he just put it on his timeline. It was what someone else said, but he reposted it. Wallow267 tweeted out, never cut off what's been good to you for a maybe, which if you're to interpret that free agency wise, maybe staying, you think the grass is greener on the other side and then maybe it's not. So just stay. So that would maybe free agency wise say, hey, maybe a deal is set to come where Ricky New York Live's insider sources could be right. Interesting. That's how I would interpret that. I did not see that. Wow.
Yeah, so when I saw that, I was like, "Oh, I'm gonna let him know in the morning." I don't know. I'm not sure if you saw that, but
no, I didn't. Wow, thank you.
That's interesting, right? Like, I think there's a deal done. I just wonder if he's gonna get tagged or if they end up doing a full extension.
Yeah.
So, I mean, why create a hole, right? When we have already so many.
Yeah, that's true. That's true. Which, again, I get it. Right. That's why that I'm conflicted because I'm a Notre Dame guy. So I've seen Jeremiah Love and he is marvelous. But if you tag or sign Brees long term, then in theory, running back's pretty solved. Again, there's some back end stuff you could do to give another running mate maybe to Brees, depending on how they feel about Braylon Allen's injury recovery. And then thus, if you moved on from Brees in whatever way it was, tag and trade or whatever, you'd have to then use one of your top picks, Jeremiah Love, on Jeremiah Love, instead of just having Brees. So, it's sort of where they are too.
And I know people are gonna probably ask what kind of truck. I drive a Ram. I'm a Ram 1500 guy. So.
Hey, by the way, I just got this message from Manshot, so keep your eyes on the road here, but I'll explain it to you. I just got this text from Manshot. He said, tell Johnny I'll send him one of these for the car ride. He has a brand new The Manshot Show with Boy Green digital coffee mug. Oh, that unplugged, but a brand new coffee mug that he says he has coming your way. So, okay, he's going to send that to you. Very nice.
I'm all about it. I love coffee cups, man. That's a little bit of a secret guilty pleasure of mine. I like collecting coffee clubs.
Really?
Yeah, coffee mugs.
Oh, yeah, and coffee clubs. It's good that you're part of this one, thank God. You're a coffee mug collector. Do you have do you just keep them in a cabinet that no one else can see them, or is there some sort of display case or something happening at the house?
No, it's pretty much I have just so many that I don't want to, put them anywhere. Dude, there's this guy that walks where my daughter has their bus stop, and he wears a Dolphins shirt. Bro, I want to run him over so much with my truck every single day.
Have you?
No, but I always pull so close to him that he stops.
Yeah.
Right? And he's like, whoa. And I'm like, have a nice day.
Oh, that's awesome.
I can't stand them, bro. But anyway, last thing I wanted to ask
you
yes, sir. Was the combine of itself, right? Yeah. What did you think of the wide receivers that were there? The ones that were a lot later, right? I liked what I saw from Kobe Young. I like what I saw from Branch, the kid Jacoby Lane.
Yep.
A lot of these other players that I don't think are making as much noise, but have made enough noise in the combine. Do you take any stock to it, or do you feel like a lot of other people feel like, dude, they're running in shorts and in, shirts. There's no pads on them or anything like that. So they should be making a lot of these grabs. What's your take on that, BG?
Yeah, I would just say, first off, one of the receivers I loved seeing in terms of a winner was Drew Beatty's guy. It was Casey Concepcion. He looked great in the gauntlet drill. That was good to see for sure. I know Connor Rogers is a big Skylar Bell guy. He's the UConn wide receiver, 5'11", 192 pounds. He spent 3 years at Wisconsin and then jumped over to UConn. And he caught 102 of 141 targets, 1,200 yards, and 13 touchdowns. He showed some pop to me at the combine. That was a lot of fun. I would say, unfortunately, and again, we mentioned this earlier, for a few winners and losers, like Malachi Fields, my guy at Notre Dame. The 40-yard dash was slow as molasses. He was in the 4.6 range. He struggled with some drops, which I was surprised by in some of the gauntlet drills. Denzel Boston struggled mightily. He had a ton of drops at the combine, did not look great. Some people have mentioned him as a possibility at 16 before, and I think that sort of activity I think was all over the place. And then the receiver that Drew Beatty gave us, Omar Cooper Jr. He looked really good too. So I'll give some props to him. But yes, there's some I like, some I didn't. But Skylar Bell is one that I don't think, to sort of the theme of your question, were receivers that people really didn't know, and then now they're sort of getting familiar with in a good way. I think Skylar Bell would be on that list.
But the Concepcion kid, right? Doesn't he have a lot of drop issues? That's been the biggest concerns in regards to him.
Yeah, I believe so. I believe that was a problem, like leading into the combine. And at the combine, he didn't show those. But again, it's one day at the office. But that's worth considering for sure.
And the offensive lineman that showed out yesterday. Yeah. Bro, when did these dudes start running a 40 like under 5 seconds? Like,
there's a lot of guys legit yesterday.
Refrigerator running at you. What are they feeding them, bro? It's crazy to me.
I thought about that when I was watching the stuff yesterday, and so many guys were under 5 seconds. And then just in general, right? We're seeing linebackers 4.47 and all these other 4.3s. And for Dylan Thieneman, he ran a 4.37. And I just took a step back. I've been watching the combine forever. NFL Network's had the combine coverage since I think it's like 2003 or 2004 was the first year. And I've been watching it forever. And you just sit back and go, holy crap. What the speed that we thought was good in 2003 in 2010 and now in 2026 are just totally different beasts. It's just it's insane. It's insane. So I was sort of pinching myself yesterday, like, damn, like the game changes, man, and you got to adapt with it or adapt or die. That's a line for Moneyball, adapt or die, and that is a adapt situation. It's been unbelievable.
And the last thing,
yes,
Makai Lemon.
Yeah.
He looked extra zesty, right, on that interview. Did that matter to you at all? Do you think that drops? And Carnell Tate having that bad 40,
yeah,
does this drop their stock at all, or is that all just, doesn't matter? Like, as long as you're producing on the field, and that's all really that should matter.
Makai Lemon, I'll take him first. It was weird, man. It was uncomfortable. I'm glad I wasn't in the room, but I felt uncomfortable being many states away and watching that press conference. And even Richie's answer, Richie asked him a question, and he turned to him, and he's like, "Yeah, I met with the Jets. What of it?" And it was strange. But apparently, I don't know what the validity is to this, but I trust Scott Mason of Play Like a Jet. He had someone on his show and said that Makai Lemon bombed interviews or something and was terrible. And that rubbed a lot of people the wrong way. And his tweet is going viral for people making fun of, they're saying bullshit. So it's whatever you take as truth. If or not how he handled some of his interviews that went a certain type of way. And the other wide receiver is who?
Carnell Tate.
Oh, yes, Carnell Tate. I hope that 40-yard dash time makes people say, I'm not so sure. And then come on down, baby. I'll take you at 16. People worried about 40-yard dash times. I think we've seen in the course of history, there's a difference between 40 speed and game speed. Now, you asked me, would I have preferred him to run a 4.46? Of course. But he ran a 4.56. So, I would have preferred him to run faster. But in our case, where we're picking at 16, it sounds unlikely that he's going to be an option at 2 based on everything we're hearing. We'll see. The things can change, I guess. It didn't affect me at all.
I do hope that if that does have any kind of effect to their stock, that Lemon does drop and he's there at 16 for us. Dude, I want us to have a weapon so bad, get Arvell Reese and then a weapon. I even like Sadiq, bro. To be able to get that type of player and just give another weapon to whatever we're gonna have as a signal caller. We need it, man. So, but bro, BG, always a pleasure, man. Vote for Lou B. If you guys are in that, vote for our guy Bonesy. Bonesy's inside here.
Okay.
And I'm in it too, man. And
okay.
I'm going against the lump man. So
I see.
Look, I love Lumpy, man. It's very tough for me to say anything bad, but
But you're about to make him lumpy by beating the shit out of it with a crowbar. I hear what you're saying.
Hey, you said it, not me.
All right, there we go.
BG, appreciate you, brother.
Thank you, Johnny, joining us here on the show. Great questions, great comments. I want to address this real quick because, I think some people, this may happen. So I see David Neves out in our audience says, I want to join the Espresso Club, but it says it wants to charge me $7.99. So I want to throw this back up, folks, because this is a good conversation point for anyone that wants to join the Espresso Club and this happens. I was recently made aware of this issue for people that are subscribe. If you join a membership of any YouTube level, I want you guys to know this, okay? So my 2 YouTube membership level prices are $2.99 and $5.99. And David says, whoa, I'm getting a $7.99. So if you try to join the YouTube membership on your phone, Apple, or depending on your phone service, iOS, Apple, Droid, all this crap, sometimes they charge you a fee. And I want to make this clear for the $7.99. I don't get the $2, right? It's $2 more expensive. Your phone gets the $2. I don't touch the $2. So even if you're I wouldn't mind paying $7.99 for Paul because I love Paul, I don't get that money. So that money just gets lit on fire. So if anyone out there wants to join the Boy Green Espresso Club, the price you should pay is $5.99, which means make sure you guys go to your computer, okay? And I'll break it down for you guys. Anyone out in the audience, again, if anyone wants to do this, it means the world. So if you're on your computer, right? You open up whatever browser of choice. I use Chrome. You open up Chrome, type in youtube.com. You type in Boy Green, and then you should see my whole screen pop up. It's me and Tanner Angstrom, it's me and Brett Michaels. You see all this stuff, and hopefully you're subscribed. Then you should see a big button when you're on your computer looking at this YouTube show. It should say join, okay? click that join button. You'll see on that left side, there's 2 levels, the Boy Green Coffee Club and Boy Green Espresso Club. It will default to Coffee Club, which is $2.99 a month. But if you just click the little, there's a block for Coffee Club, and right under it says a block for Espresso Club. Click the Espresso Club. Then on the main screen, it should say, hey, do you want to join for $5.99 a month? Click join. Booyah, you're in. And again, you will immediately have access to any of our exclusive espresso content. That is YouTube shorts that are exclusive to you guys, and most importantly, the YouTube shows that we do live at the end of every month. So, David, I love that you want to join. That means the world to me. Hopefully, you're still in here. I don't want to interrupt Johnny Boy with this comment, but hopefully you are still in here. If anyone's in here, that's how you do it. So, for anyone that wants to do it, I hope you do. Hopefully that helps explain it. I don't know why these phone companies do these silly business and make it more difficult for you guys in the audience to support. I hate that. So just so you know, the price should be $5.99. The price should be $2.99 for the coffee club. So if it's ever more expensive, reach out to me and I'll try. I helped Hep yesterday. Make sure he got onto the Espresso Club and it didn't charge him any extra money or anything crazy. So if you guys need any help, feel free to always reach out to me on any social media at BoyGreen25. That's Facebook, Twitter, Instagram. Here on YouTube, you guys can comment under a video or something and get my attention that way. It should be $5.99. So David, hopefully you're able to heed those instructions I just gave and you're able to join in for the Espresso Club. David, we would love to have you. Thank you very much. I see Johnny Boy sent in this super member shout out.
Wow.
Member for 19 months, Johnny Boy says, which coffee club member would I want starting on my team? Ooh, difficult question. Who would I? Well, I'm trying to think of the right positions. I need time to marinate on this, but well, offensive coordinator obviously has to be Easy. So Easy's my offensive coordinator for sure. He's calling the plays in. He's wiring those down. I'm trying to think like who's my quarterback, who's my franchise player, and I guess I'd go number 1 Austrian Jets fan there. He's just been there, you know. I'm probably going number 1 Austrian Jets fan at quarterback. Let me think. Kyle Clifton. I'm gonna put him in the trenches, man. I'm gonna plug and play Kyle Clifton in the trenches for sure. Johnny Boy's a little squirrely. Maybe he could be our running back. He could be our Jeremiah Love, you know. Lou B, I'm going to put him at wide receiver. I'm going to put Lou B at wide receiver for sure. Oh, Craig Mechanics just says he's 6'3", 280. All right, welcome to the offensive line, Craig Mechanics. You're now on the offensive line. Yeah, you guys can make cases for me while we're going through this. Yeah, for sure. Let's get some of that activity in there. Yeah. Hennessy Heisman, he looks like, you know, if you look at his avatar and he's got the beautiful jersey, he looks athletic. I'd put him at wide receiver. I'd put him at wide receiver too. He'd be in the conversation. Yeah, I'll start thinking about this. I'll rack my brain on this, Johnny Boy. It's a good thought. I see this from Daniel. Let's get to our boy Daniel in here. What will the reaction be when the Jets draft Ty Simpson? If the Jets draft Ty Simpson, I won't lie. When you take a quarterback, there's sort of a scintillating nature, whether you're for it or not. There's sort of an extra buzz, especially if you take a quarterback in the first round. That's not like taking any other position. You're not taking a guard. You're not taking a defensive tackle. You're taking a quarterback, a face of the franchise. When you invest a first-round pick into a quarterback, there's an inherent pressure that comes with that selection. And it would be exciting because the Jets, you know, with all due respect, don't have a long-term option on the roster right now. There's no one on this roster. I'm like, yeah, they could be the long-term quarterback of the Jets. No, I don't feel that way. So Ty Simpson immediately, at least in Dream World, would potentially be that, which is exciting because, you know, if you're a football fan, you want to have a quarterback. This is a league that is the haves or the have-nots. You either have a quarterback or you don't. It's black and white. It's this or that. It's up or down. It's very plain Jane. It's very, you know, that's a results-oriented business. You either have a quarterback or you don't. And right now the Jets don't. And not only do they not have one, they don't even have a hopeful one. So, yeah. What would be the I don't know what the reaction would be of the audience, but I'd be like, you know, it's kind of like going on a roller coaster, which I don't like. I don't like roller coasters, but going on a roller coaster, it's sort of like your adrenaline starts going. You're like, oh my goodness. Yeah, I would hopefully say that the Jets would only be taking a quarterback in the first round if they fell in love with them. And then I normally give people the benefit of the doubt. Like, okay, if this scouting staff and everything tell us that they believe he's a franchise quarterback, then let's freaking go. We hopefully have our franchise quarterback. So, yeah, so I'll probably excited. I don't know. I guess you'll see it. I don't know if I'm going to be doing a live show or will I be at the draft. I have no idea where I'm going to be, but hopefully a camera is on me when that reaction happens and you will get my honest assessment. Hennessy Heisman asked, what free agent quarterback do we pick up? Again, if it was up to me, I would sign Kirk Cousins. I want to raise the floor of the quarterback room. I'd explore a trade for Tanner McKee, get a couple of tall guys in here. I'd get Kirk Cousins, I'd get Tanner McKee, and then I'd draft a player, wherever that is. That would be my ideal quarterback room, based on the options that are available. I would sign Kirk Cousins. I would try to trade for Tanner McKee if it isn't too expensive, and then I'd draft a guy. Right now, that's how I feel. He says he likes Mariota. Okay, that's fine. I wouldn't just do Mariota. I'd need more in the room, and I'm sure you agree, Hennessy, that would be your only option. Not to speak for you, but yeah. Let's go to another member shout out here from Snowball.
Wow.
Jets World wide. Member for 15 months says the desktop computer industry is in cahoots with YouTube, which makes sense apparently. Or the phones are in cahoots with YouTube because they're the one that's trying to charge more. But he said, I'll be the punter. Hey, punter is a great job, Beth. Great job. I wish I knew how to punt. I sucked at punting. But the thing about punting, I would want to run with the ball every time I get it. So maybe it's probably for the best I wasn't a punter. But I love being a running back. I love the physicality. I loved having the ball in my hands, trucking somebody, juking someone out. Oh yeah, that was the days. Those days. I can't do that now. My time has long passed. But I did enjoy that when I played football. But yeah, I would say the phone companies are more in the cahoots. They're the one trying to just, steal money from you good people out there in the audience of making up charges to spend more than what it actually cost. That's really, as a kid say, fucked up. So no, folks, again, I just want to reiterate. It should be, again, these prices. It should be $299 and $599. If you're paying more, you should be able to go to a laptop and switch it. Which is what my dad did. He joined the Espresso Club and it charged him $7.99, and then he was able to go to his computer and flip it back to the correct price. So you guys should be able to do that. Just a shout out. Yeah. Yo, I'm saying I'm paying my phone now. It's crazy. I couldn't believe it. I did some research into it when someone said, hey, I tried to join. It was $7.99 or whatever it was for the coffee club. And yeah, so you're paying some made up charge, 100%. I'm not kidding. If you join the Boy Green Espresso Club, sometimes from your phone or whatever, I don't know if it's for all phones, so I don't want to scare people that did join the Espresso Club through the phone, but it should be $5.99. If you're paying more, then they're holding you up over the barrel. I'm not getting the $7.99. I'm getting the $5.99, and they're just keeping that extra cut, which I think is ridiculous. So yeah, but again, you guys can always switch it on the computer. It lets you switch it back. Super chat in here. This is Troy Sturgis.
Wow.
Bo was basically a linebacker, ran a sub 4.3. Bo, you'll have to fresh me on Bo, unless you're talking about Bo Jackson back in the day. And yeah, I mean, if so, yes, yeah. I mean, man, some of the athletes we had, back in the day, we had rare athletes. I mean, everyone now, again, Arvell Reese, 4.47. You're like, Jesus. Dylan Thieneman, the safety, 4.37. Hot damn. Good Lord. It is impressive. We are clearly in a new world. Yeah. Troy, thank you so much for the super chat. We'll throw this on top of your raffle ticket totals. I didn't know that was such a tongue twister this month. So beautiful. Yeah. Appreciate you guys. All right, we'll be on for a few more minutes here. I'll answer a few more questions, and then we will dip. Then we'll dip in a few minutes. Shout out to Mr. Bonesy. He's getting on a train and going to sleep. Talking 3 months. See you later, Mr. Bonesy. Thanks for chiming into the show. A lot of combine takes in here. Oh yeah, Cole Payton is what you're talking about. Cole Payton's a North Dakota State kid. Jets Johnny, imagine BG breaking ankles, baby. Breaking ankles. Oh yeah, baby. Oh yeah, those were the days. I was a little squirrely bastard. If anyone tried to tackle me up top, to stop me, you had to get me at the legs. You had to anyone that got me on a good tackle, just like my legs are. Woo, 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 woo. If you got me by the legs, like there was nowhere I could go. People would try to grab me up top, and I would just have the ball tucked up, and then I could kind of and just sort of just squirrel out of it. I don't know what else is a spin move, truck somebody, anything. Yeah, that's how I used to get out. Yeah, if people tried to tackle me up top, that always went poorly. But if you got me down low, I'm like, shit. And then you got me. Once you got my legs stopped and I couldn't drive anymore, that's when you got me. Maybe that's for every running back, I guess. Hennessy says, would someone come up to pick Ty at 2? Maybe. Maybe Cleveland would do it. Again, if you could get it. Okay, so 2 things here. First off, Cleveland has these assets. So a 2-6 drop and you pick up a bunch of picks, so you still get a really good player. In theory, that makes a lot of sense for the Jets. But again, you better be right, because if Ty Simpson's a franchise quarterback and you gave that to a different team that's also quarterback starved, that would look real bad. So keep that in mind. Good. Okay. Let me double check and make sure I answered everyone's super chat or comments that came through. So Jake Aswick got your Asmaniac love. Appreciate that for Asmaniac Madness. DNY for life, your 5 membership. Hennessy Heisen on the super chat. Thank you. Johnny Boy with the super chat shout out. Troy Sturgis with the super chat. Jets Worldwide with the super chat. Thank you guys very kindly. So again, guys, on the way out, again, we'll be back. And he was talking about Bo Jackson. Love it. Yeah, Bo was a freak. Yeah, real quick, let me look up Bo. Look at the Bo Jackson combine numbers on Bo Jackson. Yeah, does someone have it? Let me see. Who did trying to see what were Bo Jackson NFL combine numbers or 40-yard dash. Let's go 40-yard dash. I've heard the story, and we'll never be able to see it. Some people say that he ran like this 4.13 40-yard dash at the combine in 1986, but that has not been able to be confirmed. Which was, and the Raiders did a whole thing. 4.13. Oh, it wasn't at the combine. It was at a Pro Day regional combine in February of 1986. I'm reading the story on Raiders.com. He ran reportedly a 4.13. But I'll tell you this, okay? Here's the real story. Not on Bo. I wasn't there. I wasn't alive yet. But I've had the great pleasure. My daughter actually found one of these. If you go to pro days, like for a college, like at Syracuse or Notre Dame or wherever, and I went as a media member. So I got these passes around the neck, and it says, hey, Paul Esden Jr., 2022 or 2018 pro day media guy. And my daughter just found one of them yesterday. I went, Dad, necklace? And that was funny. And so I have all my pro day necklaces from when I went to the Syracuse pro day. I used to cover them for years. Before COVID, now I don't go to the pro days anymore. But I really enjoyed it. That was a lot of fun. But they kind of, with all due respect, they kind of, fudge the numbers, So like Amba Editawo was a wide receiver here at Syracuse. He went to the combine. And one of my jobs when I covered Syracuse was I'd watch a combine coverage from home. And then all their numbers, I would transcribe and do all this stuff for the website. And Amba Editawo, this wide receiver that ended up going to the NFL for a brief period of time, was on the Giants, got to interview him there in person. That was cool. But he ran a 4.5 flat at the combine. Whatever. It's a mid number for a wide receiver. And then so that was his number at the combine. And then he went to his pro day and he ran a 4.36. I just have to tell you, for there to be a number that's different by 0.14 seconds, that seems unlikely. Again, unless you stumbled on the first one or something, he didn't stumble on the first one. So some of the pro day numbers are a little, as someone who's been there before, I think some of the pro day numbers aren't the numbers that people say they are. Yes, as Still the Real AD says, they're calling it a pro day. So, that's exactly. Yo Holmes is saying 4.5 to a 4.36 is virtually impossible. That's what I'm saying. So, again, the pro day, Because so what happens is if you go to an NFL pro day or a college pro day rather, where NFL scouts are there used to be Jet scouts at all these Syracuse pro days, which was cool. There's like 25 scouts that are there, and they're on the line and they're timing the people that are running the 40-yard dashes. And then after, Syracuse will give us all media members, the NFL teams, which they probably crumple up this paper, but whatever. They tell you, hey, here's what we timed it at. Here's the sheet. And I saw Abba, I went 4.36, and I'm like, again, that same noise. I'm not so sure. That was a little, I don't know about all that. Yeah, Holmes is questioning the stopwatches that were used. Yeah, so long story short, the reason I bring all that up is pro day numbers you have to look at sideways. So that's cool to hear the legendary 413 pro day of one Bo Jackson, but like, I don't know, man. That seems hard to believe, especially having experience being at pro days. Yeah, those aren't the same. Those aren't the same. Measurements are not the same in those kind of situations. All right, everybody, why don't you do this? On the way out, make sure you guys like the video. We have 600 people in the room. Appreciate it. Over 100 of those are on YouTube. On the way out, do me a solid. Hit that like button on the video. Spread the love. If you're watching live on Facebook, YouTube, or Twitter, appreciate it. There's people that rewatch the show on YouTube. There's people that listen to the audio-only version. We only have 75 likes. Let's get that over 100, and let's keep piling it up. If you're watching the show after the fact, you see it's over 100. Let's get it up even more. And then, if you wouldn't mind, make sure you guys hit that subscribe button, baby. Like I said, we're 4 subscribers away from 8,410 as we continue to climb up. We're going to get to 10K. I know it in my heart. And it's going to be awesome whenever that moment happens. But appreciate you guys. Thanks for tuning into our NFL Combine coverage the last couple of days. We'll put out this Drew Beatty mock draft so you can yell at Drew yourself on social media. Appreciate it. And like I said, we'll be back live at 11 o'clock, less than 2 hours. I'm going to grab breakfast real quick, do some more work, and we'll be back on live at 11 o'clock talking about the latest NFL Combine rumors. The NFL quarterback carousel is set to spin, and the Jets are on the ride, and so are all of us out in the audience. Thanks, everybody, for tuning in, and we'll see you next time. Take care.